Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets singing out, yeah, through the night, that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, presented by the West Law Firm and Resto Pros of the Midwest, part of the Chief Sports Network, and proud partners of On3, Go Gamecocks.
He'll be fine on the mountain.
Consecutive home runs for Carolina.
It is good. It's gone.
He's in. Touchdown. With a throw to the plate.
He's going to score. It's a walk.
right, greetings and good morning. Welcome aboard. Welcome home inside the Gamecocks, the morning show presented by our friends at Resto Pros. They're always when you need them. Resto Pros of the Midlands, Resto Pros Midlands, SC.com, and our buddies at the West Law Firm. They're just wonderful. I know a dear friend that they are helping out right now, and they do an amazing job. They've done it for over 8 decades, and we sure are proud to be buddies with Mason and the rest of the gang over at Melissa. She's tremendous at the West Law Firm. Visit westlawfirmsc.com. Even if it's just a simple question, they can answer it for you or help you find the answer. westlawfirmsc.com. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Many of us got a bunch of rain. But it looks like it's going to be just another nice hot week here as we begin to look towards college football when the weather cools down. And that is part Mike Morgan of our, what is it called? Gamecock Report, presented by Gamecock Traditions.
Award-winning
Gamecock Report. There you go. All right, Phil. Sorry.
What's going on in Gamecock Country? It's the Gamecock Report, presented by Gamecock Traditions on the morning show. Visit GamecockTraditions.com or in Lexington and get your gear and apparel today.
Oh, you get 2 days off, and your brain just goes all over the place. Yeah, we'll tone it.
Vacation was done a week and a half ago.
I was better last Monday than I am this Monday.
I know you were sharp as a tack last Monday.
Yeah,
I mean, you basically took a no-no into the ninth. Bullpen squandered it, but today. You got a lot of traffic on the diamond, and you do not have your best stuff. But that's okay. You can still provide a winning effort the rest of the way.
They shouldn't have pulled me out with a no-no in the ninth. I'm really tired of seeing that in baseball. There was
you hit your pitch count. I mean, once you hit 97, you're out. Strict doctor's orders.
That's enough of that. I could do without that in this great game. Speaking of this great game, yesterday was the day down at the Joe. Congratulations, Mike Cisco. You're a Hall of Famer, my friend. Yes, officially inducted into the Charleston Baseball Hall of Fame. So was Nick Schufo, who was committed to South Carolina, but was a first-round draft pick out of Lexington High School. But he started his career at Wando High School, which made him eligible for the Charleston Baseball Hall of Fame. Those two, alongside with Melissa Azevedo and Chris Singleton. Everybody knows Chris's story. It was a great day down there. I'll tell you, I got to see a bunch of wonderful people. All the Hall of Famers get to come. Smoke of naturally is there, and nobody wanted his autograph, which was so humbling for me. But Gene Sapikoff is on this board. Mike, he said to tell you hello and everybody here. Gene.
Oh, thank you, Gene.
You know what Gene is doing in retirement right now?
I do not.
He's working at Augusta National.
Oh, that's not a bad gig.
And you know what I didn't do? Ask him to get me on. I was like, I'm not going to be that guy.
Oh, I will. Gene, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Remember me from Salisbury? We shared a
in that moment, I meant. I'm not going to take this moment to pitch myself to play Augusta National. We'll give it time. Let it rest.
Yeah, Gene, I was fortunate enough to win the NSMA's National Sports Writers, Sportscasters Award 5 times for South Carolina. And I would say Gene was there a couple of those times. And some great national writers. I mean, back then we had, Sports Illustrated was a real thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we had, Rick Riley won it one year. I got to meet all these guys. It was very cool. Now, I mean, with the exception of the preseason college football guys, and I only get 2 of those, Ciancia and Steele, I can't tell you the last time I bought a sports magazine of any kind. There was an embarrassing article written about Caitlin Clark, probably been 100 of them, by a lady I'd never heard of at the USA Today. And it brought me back in time, Jamie. I'm a little older than you. The USA Today, when I was a kid as a sports fan, when I got a copy of one of those things, first off, they had the best baseball box scores of any newspaper of all time. They were the first one to have like 1 for 4, but updated batting averages, how many RBIs you had on the season if you drove in a run, how many stolen bases, how many. It was just great. You had great writers on that. Now it's garbage. It's complete garbage. When's the last time you read a Sports Illustrated?
Yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah, we were at Walgreens picking up something for my wife, and while my kids were over looking at the toys, I saw the swimsuit edition.
Oh, well, that doesn't count.
It was sitting on the
That's a different. Even that, like,
funny you asked that question.
I know. I was like, are you serious? Is this a setup? Okay, you didn't read anything sports related. You looked at women in scantily clad bikinis,
Hey, now.
which you've been known to do over the course of time.
That's the beach. You just go to the beach for that now.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Anyway,
Funny you ask.
congrats to Gene.
Yeah. Well,
And,
Gene
Gene was there, but congrats to Gene on just living the life, because
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that is
Great
awfully
guy.
cool. Yeah.
Love Gene. I've always loved Gene. Don't have to agree with everything he's written or not, but you talk about a top notch. And how about this? Here's another little. I didn't know this. He passed this along yesterday. So I coached his son Jeffrey, left-handed pitcher, a long time ago. Pretty good little player. Jeffrey was a pretty good little player, but didn't want to pursue baseball in college. But he is working in baseball in college. He is the strength director for Mark Kingston at Creighton. So that's
Is that right?
Yeah, that was neat. That was really cool to hear. And
It all comes back to King.
yeah, man, always. It sure does. King's got a bunch of dudes up there with him. Speaking of baseball, we got some pretty shocking news over the weekend. This was pretty out of left field. Ethan Sutton not going to enroll at Carolina. He went ahead and signed. My understanding is his number came way down to where the Dodgers offered it. He dropped it at the last minute. You got to sign by today.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, and so he's not going to enroll. That is a hit for the Gamecocks. So let's not sugarcoat that. That's a hit, certainly. So that means they still have two open roster spots. Both will be filled by pitchers. I can tell you that. And we'll see what happens. But that's unfortunate for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, my only thought on that is what made me nervous about that one all along is the team that drafted him.
Yeah.
And that's the Dodgers. So, I mean, people are going to read, well, he took under slot. Why would you do that? First off, some kids just don't want to play in college. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to. I mean, I don't know if that's the case here or not. But the other thing is, this much. You go undervalue early on, but with the Dodgers, this is not the Pirates. Like if you're Carolina and you're in this spot again, which every program is in this spot, you want your players that's on the fence to be drafted by the Pirates or the Twins. You want them to be drafted by, I don't know, the Mariners. You do not want them drafted by the Dodgers, because eventually, if this kid is worth anything, he will get paid a lot of money on that second deal. And so that's the one thing that always looked like, it's the Dodgers. That is the one team. I mean, the Braves just signed everybody, and they signed multiple players for $500, basically the minimum wage. But Atlanta has the funds that as you climb up the minor leagues, you eventually will get your coin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you're right about that. And I think he got 175, which is 25 over the 150, so it went against the cap. They are having to pay a strong luxury tax on probably a lot, but at the end of the day, Carolina's going to have one more spot to fill, and Ethan Sutton won't be here at South Carolina. As for football, just 2 players, as we all well know, selected all SEC. We're going to come back to this in the second segment. Nick Harbor, third team. Dylan Stewart, first team. Again, we're aware. Carolina picked 11th in the league. We're aware. Stat of the day, as it pertains to South Carolina and as it pertains to South Carolina football. This is by Matt Anderson. I don't know what he's doing in his spare time right now, but apparently it's a lot of stats. This is really quite incredible, and it gives you some hope for the offensive line. Across a combined 3,264 snaps last year by 5 players, the projected starters. Jacarius Peak at left tackle, Hank Purvis at left guard, Carter Miller at center, Kojo Poku at right guard, and Shed Surratt at right tackle. They allowed just 6 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, 45 QB hurries, and 60 quarterback pressures while committing just 19 penalties, 3,264 snaps. That's an overall grade of 64.7, 72.3 on the pass side, 60.7 on the run side. And the top 6 linemen in comparison from South Carolina last year by snaps graded overall at just 56, 55-1 in the run game, 62.5 in the pass game. That's an improvement of almost 9 points, almost 10 points in pass blocking and almost 6 in run blocking. So if you want to read that full article, it's on thebigspur.com, but a really great read from Matt Anderson. We should pay him more. The WNBA All-Star Game was this weekend. I don't know if anybody watched, but there were 3 players in it. They are Carolina related, of course. Alicia Gray had 19 points. Asia Wilson had 12, and Aaliyah Boston played just 5 minutes coming out of an injury. The most important thing on the Gamecock Report to wrap this up, Mike, I'm not sure if you know about this, but you're going to know now. We have it's obviously okay to say it, but Jim Toman is now on hospice care, and we love Jim Toman, and we will just continue to pray for Caroline and his daughter and all of their family. Jim Toman is one of one, and he has fought this thing tooth and nail. So if all of you, please, if you do pray for Jim Toman and their entire family. It's unfortunate. GamecockTraditions.com. Hope those of you who went to meet Nick Harbor this weekend had a wonderful time. The Nike Superstore for South Carolina apparel, GamecockTraditions.com, where they will send it to your doorstep. There you go. Coach Holbrook sent me a message this morning and let me know about that. I'm just and I, of course, texted Coach Toman, but haven't heard anything back yet. Just terrible.
No, I think I left you a message. Me and your voicemail were tight about a week and a half ago about something similar to that. Just kind of heard things that you don't want to hear, but there's not much more I can add to it. Honestly, it's too hard for me to speak of. It's been a brutal 2 years. When I think about it, going back to Tommy Moody and just.
Oh yeah. Well, 3 years. 3 years, Mike. That was 2023.
Was it really? Yeah.
I believe.
Okay. Yeah, and there's people in my circle that not many of which would necessarily, the names wouldn't mean anything to our audience. Just people in television and whatnot that have undergone some really, really tough times. I've had some deaths in my family. I don't typically share that on public forums, so I won't do it now. But it's been a rough 2 to 3 years. Mm-hmm. It just has. So yeah, F cancer. You can't say that strongly enough. Anyway, moving right along. I know we're about to take a break, and I know we're going to get into some football talk. You and I haven't spoken since the conclusion of SEC Media Days, which would have been, late Thursday. Obviously, the poll came out. The Big Ten does it differently. Their poll is already out, and they start tomorrow in Chicago.
Yeah.
The SEC waits till the last day. That way, they stay in the news cycle, not just Monday through Thursday, but also Friday as well.
And now. We're about to talk about it.
We're about to talk about it, yeah. So, I mean, from that standpoint, I guess it's a good thing. I personally like the poll ahead of time, but nevertheless, I will tease you with this. Carolina has something very deeply in common with, I would say, 5 other SEC teams, and they're not the 5 teams you might be thinking.
Good tease. All right.
That's it.
Well done. We're going to hit on that. Plenty of it. We've got a morning show scramble today that's kind of all over college football and the SEC. Obviously, South Carolina is mixed in there as well. Sherbert and Mad Dog will be along. It's going to be a fun Monday. It'll be a fun Monday. We're going to run the gamut. Mike, if you can run us to a timeout, please.
I can run us straight into incredibly good and lower mortgage rates. We're probably never heading back to the day and age. Remember when you got like 2.5? That was crazy stuff. If you're fortunate enough to still have that, the good news is you're never going to get that low again. You locked in at the perfect rate. The bad news is you're probably never going to sell your house because if you buy another one, you're not going to get 2.5. That's why a lot of people are just kind of frozen when it comes to real estate transactions. But you can take your current rate and make a better situation, or there still are great advantages. I know we have a lot of younger people in our audience that maybe have never bought that first home. I remember when I bought my first one in Columbia, it was scary, but it was also such a special, great feeling. You need to have a mortgage broker that you feel good about to kind of guide you through all that. And that would be none other than Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage, 30 years plus in the business, all in the state of South Carolina, all helping South Carolinians with one simple phone call at 803-238-0111, 803-238-0111. He has already helped a number of our listeners. The reviews are terrific. If this was Yelp, then Troy would be getting a 5-star Yelp from the ITG contingent. So go ahead and give him a call today, 803-238-0111.
We will step aside quickly and we'll come back and dive deep into why South Carolina only had 2 named and what we've got to look forward to and much, much more right here on The Morning Show.
If you own a home, don't wait on these home safety tips. Flush your water heater, clean your dryer vent, and inspect your roof annually. Don't forget to check washer hoses and caulk in wet areas. Visit RestoProsMidlandsSC.com.
Now is the time. Finish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution. Beautiful like new floors in just one day. Hardwood, vinyl, laminate, concrete, tile floors. Any floor. We can do it. No dust, affordable, and 5 stars. Give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365. Or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks.
Do you carry? Carry responsibly with us. What could you lose from a self-defense act? Visit protectwithbear.com to find out more. Protectwithbear.com.
Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage can help you save big today anywhere in South Carolina. Over 27 years experience. Visit ggmortgage.com. Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage says go Gamecocks.
Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions are your local home protection experts. Crawl space encapsulation, sump pump and drain installs, humidity control, duct cleaning, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and French drains. We do it all. Visit dryspacecs.com. dryspacecs.com. Go Gamecocks.
If you have experienced water damage, storm damage, fire or smoke damage, or need mold remediation, you need Resto Pros of the Midlands. Visit RestoProsMidlandsSC.com and go Gamecocks.
Join us every week for SEC Sunday Night on the Chief Sports Network.
Subscribe to fourquarterfriday.com for just $1. High school sports coverage in South Carolina. Part of Rivals and on 3. This is ITG, presented by the South Carolina Education Lottery. Visit sceducationlottery.com. A win for education in the Palmetto State.
Your love lifting me higher than I've ever been lifted before. So keep it up, quench my desire, and I'll be at your side forevermore. You know your love keep on lifting me higher.
Now we are 40 days from kickoff. 40 days until South Carolina and Kent State get going. 12:45 on the SEC Network, Saturday, September the 5th. Our coverage of South Carolina football is brought to you by our friends at Palm Casual, the best outdoor furniture you can find. If you will be watching Gamecock football in the backyard or on the front porch or wherever, around the pool, in the mountains, by the beach, it doesn't matter. They've got the stuff that you need. PalmCasual.com. PalmCasual.com. So 2 Gamecocks picked, that not shocking who they were either. Nick Harbor fits right in as a third-team wide receiver, and Dylan Stewart, of course, fits right in as a first-team defensive end. South Carolina was chosen 11th in the league. I thought they'd be somewhere between 9 and 12, so that landed pretty much right where we thought. You know, there's a few different conversations that you can have about the preseason picks. The first one is, do they matter? And the answer to that is no. And I actually wrote about this the other day, and the fact that these things are never right. But the other is why. Like, one of the others at least. Why? Well, only 2? Because I think a lot of us were fairly surprised. I mean, Vicari Swain not being mentioned, certainly to me, was the biggest surprise. And then you can make an argument for quite a few others: Fred Johnson, Gabrielle Brownlow Dindy, Jacarius Peak. And I'm not going to make a argument for Lenore Sellers. I know why. There are better quarterbacks in the league, for those, in the eyes of those who are picking, and he's coming off of a bad year. It's very rare that a quarterback like that is going to be thrown onto an all-SEC preseason team. But there's some wild cards. We'll come back to that here in just a little bit. But Shane Beamer said something last year right here on this show, and he was so spot on about it. And it is evidence driven, and it's directly tied to South Carolina. If you don't really need much more evidence. If y'all remember, going into the 2025 season, South Carolina finished on a 6-game winning streak in the regular season in 2024. I know, lost the bowl game. They returned their star quarterback, who was the freshman of the year in the SEC in 2024, and they finished 5th in the league in 2024. And Shane said, generally when you return a really good quarterback and you have a good year, you're going to be picked high. When you don't, you're going to be picked low. Well, then what happened this year? Carolina went 4-8 last year. Lenore Sellers regressed for a multitude of reasons. Nobody's seen anything since, right? And so there you go. You throw that out there. They're not in the thick of it. And who is the media? This isn't Mike Morgan's old media when Mike was going to SEC media 20 years ago and 25 years ago, even 10 years ago. There's a lot of people that get credentialed to this thing that actually vote in it that have no idea what they're voting on. They really don't. A lot of them do. A lot of them do the homework. So it really, at the end of the day, means nothing. But if anybody's wondering why, Carolina's coming off of a bad year, and you don't get the respect coming off of a bad year unless you've earned the respect. And the respect is, like, you're consistently a winning program in the SEC. And Carolina is not a consistently winning program in the SEC, and they're coming off of a 4-8 season. So they got picked about where we probably thought they'd be picked. And other than the 2 superstars who are nationally known, nobody else was going to be mentioned. They're going to have to go out there and prove that.
Agreed on all fronts. I think one of the last things we did on the show Tuesday, we were kind of constricted with time, but I had Phil flash up, 3 guys that I respect. They're top 5 quarterbacks in the SEC. It was Jordan Rodgers. It was Chris Doring, and maybe Peter Burns, Cole Kublik, one of them. I mean, they're all like the same. Like, every list has some combination of Arch Manning, Trinidad Chambliss. Like, they're leading the way on most. Some have Sam Levitt, some don't. Most did not have Gunnar Stockton. Who am I missing?
As John Mateer.
Some have Mateer, some don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, some have Mateer, some don't.
Yeah, I mean, those are kind of the main ones. I mean,
yeah, those are the main ones, right?
Marcel Reed.
Yeah, very few. It's funny. I mean, this is to your point. People are it's primacy, recency, memory. You remember what you last saw. What you last saw out of Marcel Reed. I know I was there. I did the game against Texas. He laid an egg. He was not good. And that was the last game a lot of people saw. It was on a Friday night. It was nationally televised. And he did not look good. He got completely outplayed by Arch Manning. And for the same reason, Sam Levitt was clearly never the same after he hurt his hand. John Mateer clearly was not. He could not grip the ball. He was in some games just not good. Now eventually he adjusted and kind of had to dial it back, like muscle memory. Yes, when I'm healthy, I can make this throw. I do not have a hand that can grip the ball. I can't make this throw anymore, and stop doing bad throws. So some people remember Mateer struggling, and they knocked him down a few pegs. Some people have no idea who the hell Sam Levitt is, and so they didn't put him in the top 5 at all. But one thing I'll say for the Lenora Sellers is not getting any respect card. When you actually listen to, I watched a massive amount of coverage of SEC Media Days.
Yeah, I did too.
Thank goodness I don't have to go anymore. You can just watch it on TV. If you listen to all the same people that didn't have him in the top 5, they all are like, oh boy, but he's got the highest upside. Like, it's not like all negative at all. It's actually, oh, if he can figure this out, he'll be ... If he can figure this out, he'll be a first-round draft pick. If he can figure this out, he could be all SEC, which I will remind everybody, Carolina's never had an all SEC quarterback. So I feel like this is the same thing I said last year. And obviously it didn't work out. And of course, a lot of people point to Bryles, better O-line. But the NFL draft guys point to obviously that, but they also point to the fact that there's things Lenoris has to improve on. Mm-hmm. Like Josh Allen, his last year at Wyoming, was an awful team. He completed like 56% of his passes. They had nobody. I mean, he was playing with a bunch of ham and eggers. But scouts, this is all they do for a living, Jamie. This is all they do. They just watch tape religiously. And they looked at Josh Allen and they said, no, his stats might not be that good. And yes, he regressed from the year before, but he's a top 10 talent. And that's where he got drafted.
Right.
If they saw that in Lenoris, he would have been projected first-round draft pick. Yeah. What they see is a guy that has massive potential. I mean, I've said this before, like when Carolina gets off the bus, if you just have Lenoris, Dylan Stewart, and Nick Harbor walk off first, they're a pretty intimidating trio because those are all aliens. Like most human beings that even play big-time college football are not built like that, do not look like that, do not have those skill sets. And Lenoris is one of those guys.
Right.
But the evolution of Lenoris, look, it doesn't always happen in 2 years. He has started 24 games. Knock on wood, he will start at least another 13. And I would expect in those next 13 that, yes, of course, the offensive play calling will be better. Could not be much worse. Offensive line play will be better. Could not be worse. But also he will be better.
Yeah.
He will get better. Because even in 2024, he was not a flawless quarterback. A lot of times people look at somebody in football and basketball and they look at upside. And they say, yeah, he's not a complete product yet, but we would draft him high based on upside. Because there's things that Lenoris Sellers has that you just cannot teach. Yeah. You cannot manufacture in a weight room. So if all that comes together, absolutely he could be in the top 5. He could be a first-round draft pick. He all those things are still in front of him. Like last year is last year. That does not change the ability to have a outstanding year and to develop into, quite frankly, what Anthony Richardson never did when he was at Florida. Athletically, they will both be somewhat similar at a combine. But I could have told you Anthony Richardson wasn't worth a top 10 pick. The Colts disagreed, and he's now just a liability. I mean, he has no place as a starter in the NFL. I don't think Lenoris is there. Lenoris has again, potentially 13, maybe more games to show, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy who's just looks great coming off the bus and performs incredibly well at a combine. But then when the tape comes on, it's not always there. He can do all that this year, and he's got much more help than in years past. I don't know if I agree. Some people are saying this is the most talented team in Gamecock history. That's a bit of a stretch, man.
I can't get on board with those.
I can't get on board with that.
It could be, but I need to see that.
Well, I know where a lot of it's coming from, Jamie. I mean, as we've talked about on this show, has there ever been a Carolina team with 3 first-round draft picks? There is that potential this year.
Sure, certainly, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you're not going to convince me. It's not all about just draft picks, and I can say that even as a draft junkie.
It's not all about just those 3 either. I mean, or 4. You've got to be. I think that's preseason stuff. You know what I mean?
It's preseason stuff. It's a good way to get clicks. I get it, but like those 3 11-win seasons that Spurrier had, those teams, a lot of their best players they didn't fit the mold of high draft picks, but they were just good college football players.
Well, I mean, if I asked you if you could replace every single player on the team, on this year's team, no disrespect to these guys, they're all bigger than me, they'll all beat me up. But I'm just saying, if you could just swap one roster, you're going to take this roster, you get to swap it with 1 year's roster. 1 year, everybody's probably going to pick one of those 3 teams.
Yes.
Why? Because we saw it.
Yeah.
We saw what it looked like. We're able to go back and say that was probably the most talented team ever, and here's why.
And
saw it happen.
Yeah, and it wasn't just about the strengths. It was like, what was the liability on those teams? What did they not do well? Seemed to do just about everything really well.
Yeah, there wasn't. That's where I think people are beginning to turn the corner on this a little bit. And you're right, by the way, about Sellers. I put a couple of quotes, not that it was like secret intel. I just thought they were worthy of it. In a piece last week, some things that both Cole Kubelik and Jordan Rogers said. Matter of fact, Jordan Rogers' quote was awesome. He said his favorite coaching hire, period, in the SEC was Kendall Briles to South Carolina. And and I'm a huge fan of Jordan Rogers, and I like the way he thinks, but not because of that necessarily. But I think that where people are beginning to turn the corner a little bit with this team, and again, this is not this in no way reflects what we saw from the preseason All SEC teams, is that those who do pay attention are beginning to understand that South Carolina has some talent in the positions you need to be talented in order to be successful. Like in baseball, we know that if you're strong up the middle, you've got a pretty good chance to have a pretty good team. If you've got a good catcher, you've got good middle infielders, you've got a good center fielder, and you have pitching, more times than not, that team's probably pretty good. In football, if you've got a good quarterback and you start outside, you got good tackles, you flip it over to the defensive line, you go, well, that's a pretty good group there too. You start with just those 3, Mike, just those 3 things. We're good in the trenches and we're good at the quarterback position. You all of a sudden, okay, well, this team might be pretty good, because you can't win without one of them, 2 of them. You certainly can't win without all 3 of them, right? We know that. We have seen that. 2014 was a brilliant example of that. Carolina had a pretty good quarterback in Dylan Thompson. He wasn't perfect, but he was pretty good. They were pretty good on the offensive line. They could score a bunch of points, but they couldn't stop a nosebleed defensively, particularly late in the year. And, last year, good defense, terrible offensive line, certainly impacted the quarterback. Good defense, but where was the defense much weaker from 2024? You've pointed this out numerous times. In the trenches. They weren't weak, but they weren't great. They were weaker. And I think people were going, okay, well, this kid's pretty good. That kid's pretty good. This kid's okay. All right. So now, let's pay. What's going on around him? Who the hell else is any good? Well, shoot, Nick Harbor's out there. Okay. Well, we haven't seen anything from the running backs. Fair enough. But every single year in college football, there are running backs whose names you begin to learn that you didn't know about before. Running backs, they happen organically. So I think that's the least of the concerns for others who are like looking at this thing and starting to kind of try to project and figure out who is who. Oh, shoot, they got 3 linebackers who are back who all started. Oh, well, maybe they are okay. I'm with you on that. I think there's a divide in the guys that pay attention. You've mentioned a lot of them already, and do their homework. And then everybody else who just kind of throws in a vote, and it's just based on what they remember the season being like last year, and they're not really sure who some of these guys are this year, so they're probably not going to be very good.
I don't think they have this award in the SEC. They have it in pro sports. But if you could project most improved player in the SEC this year, I dare say Lenora Sellers would be, if not the top vote getter, right there.
That's a great line.
Yeah. I mean, I just came to me as we're having this conversation. That's what I love about, you never know where some of these talks are going to go. But, you have that in the NFL and MLB and the NBA. You have most improved player. Maybe a guy's coming off an injury. Maybe a guy just wasn't that good, and then he has this great year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't vote on that in Tampa, but if you did, I would put my chips on the table and say most of those media members would vote Lenora Sellers. So again, if you watch the coverage, this was not, first off, it's a much deeper year at quarterback than last year in the SEC. For that matter, it's a much deeper year nationally. You're going to see the NFL draft. Like, you're not going to see teams reaching for a quarterback at the end of the first round like you did from the Cat at Alabama. You're going to see a lot more quarterbacks taken in the first 3 rounds. It's just a stronger year, and the SEC is front and center in that area. And so in a crowded year, it's just easier to take the guy that is coming off a good year. But overwhelming, I didn't hear one person say a negative thing about Lenora Sellers. And truth be told, a lot of these guys, they don't sit there and break down tape of every South Carolina game. They've got at least 16 teams to focus on. They were so high on him last year based on the Clemson game in a lot of ways, and the magnificent kind of Houdini runs that he had in that game. And maybe they saw some of the LSU game and some of the explosive plays he had in that game, even though it ended in a loss. It was. I thought he grabbed a lot of stock in that game. So everybody just went all chips in on Lenora Sellers, and people were voting him very high on every list.
He was the preseason first team, all SEC first team quarterback.
Preseason first, yeah. And then you had guys who I don't necessarily have a ton of respect for saying, oh, he's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. I'm just like, man, that's a little bit of a leap. That's a little bit of a leap. You go back and you look at quarterbacks that have been number 1, particularly in stronger years. You've got to be buttoned up as a passer to do that, And so the hype got to a fever pitch last year. I don't think it was fair to Lenora Sellers, quite frankly. He had 12 starts under his belt. He was a guy that still had a ways to go, but they were just projecting with that physical skill set, he's only going to get much better. I thought he would be better last year, but he wasn't. And so now this year, I think everybody is on board. He is certainly going to be better. But there's also what you're hearing now from the other side is a little bit of what I would call cautious optimism. Yeah, he's going to be better, but what is his ceiling? Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that he needs to improve on, and how much better will they get in 2026? First and foremost, just from the standpoint of forget about NFL draft, if you're Carolina and you want to win the most games possible, he has to be running more.
Yeah.
And he has to be running with, I don't want to say reckless abandon, but like if the first down is the 30, you do whatever you have to do to get to the 30.
Yeah.
Right? That's just, it's too big of a strength to not be in his game. And there were times where the runs were there, just on scrambles, not called runs.
Sure.
That, a lot of times quarterbacks want to show, hey, look, I'm not just a runner. Look at me. I'm a great passer. I can buy time and make things happen. Yeah, but if you need 3 yards and there's like a gaping hole on the right side.
Yeah, just get it.
Just get it, man. Well, no one person's going to bring him down most of the time.
That was always, I think that was the thing that was just so frustrating, and we of course we learned, a lot about how he was being coached. It really, at the end of the day, you watched him play. You could tell this wasn't the aggressive natured kid that we had seen in a uniform in 2024. But by comparison, if you go back and look what Connor Shaw did at South Carolina, like, yeah, was a lot of that designed? Well, of course it was. But have you ever, not you, but like just in general, has anybody ever heard G.A. Mangus around here? We've had him on the show probably 20 times or more over the years. Has anybody ever heard Steve Spurrier? Has anybody heard Sean Elliott and those guys, the way that they talked about a lot of what happened during those 3 years? Well, that was Connor. That wasn't really the play. But
Exactly.
Connor looked over and said, well, we need 5 yards, and I think I can get about 15 on this thing, so I'm out of here.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point. Like, some of the biggest runs you see quarterbacks make at any level now, they're not designed runs.
No.
They're seeing, they're seeing the field, and they're seeing what's in coverage and how many people are away from the line of scrimmage. And if it's there, man, there's no quarterback you'd rather see running the ball in open field than Lenoris Sellers. So,
well, how much easier does that make the next play call? Because now they're having to defend that.
100%, 100%. So obviously, and look, there's no doubt when everybody's telling you you're a lock to be a first round pick. I mean, you do hear things like, well, whatever you do, man, don't get hurt. Don't take unnecessary shots. But I think there's a balance there between not being reckless, but also, taking what's given you. It's going to take a very large man and a very awkward hit to hurt Lenoris Sellers. I realize he's been hurt before. Like, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. You could be big, strong, and fast. An ankle is an ankle, a knee is a knee. But I just, to me, while you've got this kid for one more year, he needs to be a running asset, and he needs to be forcing defenses to have to cover that. And that doesn't always mean called runs. I'm sure there'll be more called runs than last year. I don't know how much more. I mean, the other thing is, I want to see Gamecock wide receivers step up. I've said this before on the show. Like, why is it all these other SEC schools can have freshman wideouts catch balls for nearly 1,000 yards, but you don't see that a whole lot at Carolina? I mean, but the recruiting rankings are there. I mean, they're bringing in talent.
Yeah.
So, like, what is? I have confidence in the wide receiver coach at Carolina. I know you do as well.
Yep.
So what's the deal? I'm not asking for Jeremiah Smith. I'm just saying give me a Jermel Kelly. There's a name from the past. Give me something that can really be. It can't just be Nick Harbor. It's got to be somebody else on the other side. The word is out on Nick Harbor. Okay. I don't know how many times a secondary is going to let that guy get past him on a go route.
Well, I don't know if they have much of a choice.
Well, I mean, yeah, true. There's always, like, you could always shade a safety over and just play back and say, okay, you want to beat us on a 5-yard hitch, which a couple of times he did. He would turn a 5-yard hitch into a 80-yard score. Like, there's one, and the games start to blur together. Was it A&M? There's one, he caught one underneath, and
he broke away. That's when
broke away. And, yeah. And what was that? I don't know, 65, 70 yards, whatever it was. Yeah, he can do that. But I want to say, like, who's going to be? Nick Harbor has a chance to lead this team in receptions and yards and touchdowns. Maybe he does that. Who's going to be second in those categories? Like, who's going to be the guy on the other side that defenses are like, I gotta watch out for that dude.
Yeah. Got a lot of dudes to choose from. That's for dang sure.
I don't need a lot. I just want one other guy, Jamie. And then the other guys will supplement, and that's great. But, like, I need one other guy to be just a complete hellraiser and be a problem for defenses to cover. Well, Nick Harbor is going to draw a ton of attention.
Yeah, you're probably, when you look at the track record of Kendall Briles, you're looking at probably having 4 guys all over 500 yards. One of them will be the ringleader somewhere. But this offense, it's a heavy RPO deal here, and they're really quick and supposedly easy decisions to make. Somebody's going to be open. Just dump it to them.
Well, yeah. And actually,
from.
what Blake says, I totally agree with. He says, I don't have a doubt in my mind, Pup Sellers will be top 3 in receptions, probably top 2. Clearly, I think he benefits from Bryle's system as much as anybody.
Yeah.
Because he's your underneath guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's your guy that can just help you dink and dunk your way down the field and sustain long drives and find the end zone. And obviously, he and Lenoris have a special bond. And clearly, when he started getting more reps last year, that became Lenoris's go-to many, many times. So, yeah, I would think he's one of those guys. Now, who's the other?
We're going to find out sooner than later. Nick Harbor, for what it's worth. And I don't know. I've asked Steve Fink this before, but Steve's out of the chair now, so I guess we'll have to ask Mike.
Like, I'm retired, dude. Don't be asking me questions.
Don't call me. But maybe Mike Debates can clear it up for us. Nick Harbor does enter the season with back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. He's also caught a touchdown pass in 5 straight games. That is tied for a school record with Alshon Jeffrey. I don't know if that record would carry over or not, if he catches one in week 1 or not. I don't know if it's a single season or if it's carry over or what, but he's got
that should carry over
5 straight. So
yeah, no, that would be great to see.
That would be 6 straight for Nicholas Harbor.
I'll answer my tease question on the next segment.
Yeah, please do. Actually, that would be wonderful if you can get it.
I'll work up an appetite for that and for some D's wings. It's Monday. It is wing day, day and night. Discounted wings actually from 4:00 until close. Tomorrow will be Taco Tuesday. If you haven't already made plans there, not just great wings, ribs, oyster buckets, burgers, you name it. I mean, they've got it on the menu. They've got TVs all over the place to watch something, maybe a rerun of the WNBA All-Star game. I know that's what Jamie would be watching. You've got all types of beers on tap. They've got everything that you need, conveniently located over there in West Columbia, doing it since 1988. Billy and his fantastic staff. Say hello to them. Tell them you heard about it right here on ITG. They like hearing that, and they like serving you at D's Wings.
10:49, quick TO, quick final segment, and then a Sherbert and Mad Dog sighting coming up at the top of hour 2 here on the morning show.
If you own a home, don't wait on these home safety tips. Flush your water heater, clean your dryer vent, and inspect your roof annually. Don't forget to check washer hoses and caulk in wet areas. Visit RestoProsMidlandsSC.com.
A really common fear in a workman's compensation case is what's going to happen to my job if I report this injury? And my answer to that is you still need to report your injury. I'm dealing directly with the insurance company, and the insurance company is going to treat you like a file number. So let me make sure that doesn't happen to you. Let me get involved in your workman's compensation case.
Ryan Brewer Fence offers a variety of services ranging from fences and railings to columns. Our craftsmanship, experience, and service is second to none. Visit ryanbrewer.net today.
Andy, why are you burning all that money?
Because if you're buying a Honda or Toyota, that's exactly what you're doing. Look at the new Kia K4. It's $2,000 less than the Civic, and Honda only has a 5-year warranty. JT's Kia has a 1,000,000-mile warranty.
Don't forget JT's Advantage Package. Oil changes, roadside assistance, and so much more. Why burn money?
I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard. We're serious about saving you money.
JT's Kia.
Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event.
Is this your golf game? It doesn't have to be. Visit McKellarEnterprises.org and improve your game today.
Do you carry? Carry responsibly with us. What could you lose from a self-defense act? Visit ProtectWithBear.com to find out more. ProtectWithBear.com.
South Carolina football. Young men come to Columbia as football players. Some become heroes. and few become legends.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. Gonna get there. It's gonna be It's about to be legendary. Yeah, we're gonna be legends. We're gonna teach them all a lesson. Got this feeling in our souls we carry. It's about to be legendary.
In Columbia, South Carolina, legends never die.
10:52. It's the final segment of our number one, powered by Electric Bikes of Charleston. Get moving this fall. electricbikescharleston.com. Teaser time. Can you please?
Oh, we ready to pay it off?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I teased it a couple of breaks ago. South Carolina has something in common with these 5 SEC teams, and it's not the ones you think. So last year, if you go back to the final standings, there were 6 SEC teams that finished under 500. Kentucky, Florida, Auburn, Mississippi State, Carolina, and Arkansas. Not far from that, by the way, was one of the most disappointing teams in LSU, which would also apply to this statement I'm about to make. If you listen to everybody, and this is why Carolina finished in the preseason, in their poll, in the media poll, what was it, Jamie, 11th or 12th?
11th.
11th? Okay. And I'm sure some fans were kind of taken back by that. Like, wait a minute. You love Lenora Sellers. You love Nick Harbor. You love Dylan Stewart. You love the recruiting. Hell, most of the media seems to love Shane Beamer. How are you predicting 11th? Well, the top is the top, right? I mean, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas. A lot of people are high on A&M, Oklahoma, Alabama this year. That's not changing. And a lot of people are high on LSU. But here's the thing. Of those 5 programs that finished under 500, Jamie, I can't find anybody that doesn't think they're all not going to be improved. So let's play a little bit of a game here. Okay, buy or sell. Arkansas last year was 2-10. Buy or sell, they'll win more than 2 games.
I'll buy that.
Mississippi State was 5-8, 1-7 in conference play. Buy or sell, they'll win more in at least one of those categories.
Yes, I think Mississippi State goes bowling.
Auburn was 1-7 in the SEC, 5-7 overall. Buy or sell, they'll improve in at least one of those areas.
Oh, buy. Yeah.
Florida was 4-8, 2-6 in the SEC. Buy or sell, they'll improve in at least one of those areas.
Yeah, for sure. Bye.
Kentucky was 2-6 in league play, 5-7 overall. Buy or sell, they're going to improve.
I'm going to sell that.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, you said improve. So yes, I will. I think it's around there.
So it's around 2-6. It's around 5-7.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I don't think, but a lot of people, especially after Will Stein gave his kind of channeled his inner Signetti. He basically said, "Google me."
Yeah, which I loved, by the way. I thought
and so did the media loves that. Like we're suckers for like big talk in the midst of all the boring drivel you get in these press conferences. So some people are like, you know what, a legit quarterback, a new scheme. I could see Kentucky winning 3 games in the SEC. And then I'll throw, even though they had a winning record technically, I'll throw this in. Buy or sell, Jamie. LSU, 3-5, 7-6 overall. They're going to be better than they were last year in the SEC.
They better be.
They better, right? They better.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that brings us to Carolina, 4-8, 1-7 in the SEC. I mean, I already know the answer. Everybody and their grandmother thinks Carolina is going to be better and should be better and will be better.
Mm-hmm.
So
who's worse?
So who's taking a step back?
Well,
it's the question, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if all the bad teams from a year ago all got better because of coaching changes, the portal, whatever else, then it's hard to make up a lot of ground. Now, you know me, I'm on record. 8 wins should be with this roster and that schedule. That should be a realistic expectation. But I also, I think I was right in line with you. Arkansas, Mississippi State, Auburn, Florida, LSU should all be better. Kentucky, we'll see. So that's where Carolina still gets lost in the national conversation, with the exception of, maybe a Phil Steele, who is higher on them than most of the prognosticators. And again, I realize all of it means nothing. It's just talk. It's just predictions. But if you truly believe that all these your competition all got better, like everybody thinks Vanderbilt's going to take a step back without Pavia, right?
How many picks they had on the preseason All SEC teams?
0.
Not one.
Yeah, 0. I can't think of a guy that's like a headliner anymore. You had Stowers and Pavia before. And usually, and even in Vanderbilt's lean years, they would have like some stud linebacker. I don't even see that this year.
I mean, Vanderbilt's lean years, I could always count on them having a wide receiver.
Earl Bennett.
Yeah, I don't have one of those either. Well, according to the media guys.
Yeah. So, like, other than Vanderbilt, who does everybody think is going to take a step back?
Yeah, and how big of a step is that? You know what I mean?
I really don't know. I mean, I love Clark Lee. I love me some Clark Lee. And admittedly, I fell in love with the Vanderbilt story. But I don't think they're winning 10 games anytime soon. Like, it's going to be really hard. Pavia, who got waived by the Ravens in the last few days, he never had a chance. He's never going to play it down in the NFL. No. But he was a hell of a college quarterback, man. An absolute dog. There is not a team in the country that wouldn't want his overall just fight as a player. But he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. Bruin says Ole Miss. I'm on record saying they don't win more than 8. If Chambliss was not awarded that extra year, I'd be right on board. And they still might take a step back with Chambliss. Lane Kiffin to me is worth a win or two. And that's no knock on Pete Golding, but I do think you're going to miss Lane somewhere along the line. But you got Lacey and you got Chambliss. Now, how they look on defense, they basically have been a portal defense the entire Lane Kiffin era. Almost every star player on that defense was somebody they plucked from somewhere else. Did they get enough in the portal this year to be really good? So Ole Miss is one that I could see taking a step, not having a 10-win season. Even if Chambliss balls, they might not be as good. But when you think of, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, they might come up here in just a minute on the morning show scramble.
That's right. We got a scramble to look forward to. We got JC to look forward to. We got Mad Dog to look forward. We got a lot of things to look forward to.
That's true. And we're now less than 5 months from Christmas, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Pump the brakes.
No, man, I love
Pump the brakes. I don't want to go shopping for anything anytime soon for anyone. I don't have any significant birthdays that I have to look for. There's no Valentine's Day until after the Super Bowl. Let's not worry about Christmas.
You can always reward yourself this holiday season with a fence from Ryan Brewer.
You know what? I take it back. Get your Ryan Brewer fence. That's a Christmas present early. Go to ryanbrewer.net. Get a free estimate. Get yourself that fence. Get yourself your columns, your rails. Get it all. At the man, the myth, the legend, the Outback Bowl MVP, the girls soccer coach, and the purveyor of the best fencing company in South Carolina, bar none, Ryan Brewer Fence.
It is 11 o'clock. It is hour 2, the morning show brought to you by Resto Pros and the West Law Firm. We'll be right back.
Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions are your local home protection experts. Crawl space encapsulation, sump pump and drain installs, humidity control, duct cleaning, basement waterproofing, concrete leveling, and French drains. We do it all. Visit dryspacecs.com. dryspacecs.com. Go Gamecocks.
Is this your golf game? It doesn't have to be. Visit McKellarEnterprises.org and improve your game today.
Test ride at Electric Bikes of Charleston today. Road trip ready. Ride comfortably. Forget road fatigue. The Velotric Fold 1 Plus features our exclusive Comfort Max frame design for an effortless, upright riding posture and a low step through. With an adjustable seat and stem, you'll be feeling great and ready for the next campsite adventure. Your back will thank you. Visit Electric Bikes of Charleston. ElectricBikesCharleston.com.
Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage can help you save big today anywhere in South Carolina. Over 27 years experience. Visit ggmortgage.com. Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage says go Gamecocks.
New year, better floors. Now is the time. Refinish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution. Beautiful like new floors in just one day. No dust, affordable, and 5 stars. Give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365, or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks!
Jeffrey's got space and a touchdown. Can you believe it? Touchdown! He caught it on traffic. Scores! South Carolina!
You're tuned into Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show, part of the Chief Sports Network, proudly presented by the West Law Firm, and brought to you in partnership with Resto Pros of the Midlands. Go Gamecocks!
It's the final hour of the morning show. Welcome back inside the Gamecocks, presented by Resto Pros and the West Law Firm. There's Sherbert, fresh out of hair and makeup. Phil does not need that. And it's a full boat here in hour number 2, along with the Golden Tones. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Morning.
We need to, the logo on your shirt, Phil, is enormous.
It is very large. We need an updated T-shirt. I got to get in touch with our friends over there at that. Whatever it says in the back of my shirt. I don't know if we want to advertise it, but
you're advertising it, okay?
That is a massive billboard. Yeah,
it is a large logo.
Love it.
There's really no shirt. It's just a logo. I'm convinced the rest is just black screen.
It might be.
You just
I'm a floating head on an image.
Yeah, you glued your chest and you smacked a huge logo on there, and the rest is just tricks, TV tricks.
Saturday night, Michael, I know you'll love this. You might not love the pick of the movies, but that's okay. But you'll just love the effort that was made. Once the kids went to bed, was just not able to sleep. So I was like, I just want to watch 2 movies that I know are going to make me laugh that I haven't seen in a while. So I chose Life, Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, which is just one of the funniest movies ever. And I wanted to watch something in the American Pie series, and I've watched American Pie.
I thought of you. They had the marathon on IFC.
Yeah.
They ran both of them, I think, throughout the weekend. Every time I went on the dial, it's like, hey, it's American Pie and American Pie 2.
Yeah, I know. Well, I actually watched American Reunion because I haven't seen that in probably 10 years. I was like, and it obviously is not as good as 1 and 2, but God, it's just there are just things in there that are just like, God, that is just so funny. And I just laughed. I laughed for 4 straight hours watching those 2 movies.
It's the perfect storm of a bunch of no-name actors that came to play and fit the roles perfectly. And then Eugene Levy, I don't know if you have the movie, without the dad. And Eugene Levy's always been hilarious. If you follow him going back to Second City, he helps make the movie. But you had a bunch of no-name kids that probably did it for like $5,000 and a cheeseburger because they had no credentials.
Right.
And they all work. Like even the underrated guys, like Finch, I think is brilliant in those movies. Finch is great. Who's the Shermanator?
Yeah.
Confidence level is high. I repeat, confidence level is high. Like I don't know if they could act at all or do anything else, but in those roles, they're perfect. The one that for me, the weak link. This is going to be controversial. It's a hot take. Are you ready?
Tara Reid.
Well, yes, she gets by on her beauty. She's certainly
terrible.
She's not a great actress at all.
No.
But I'm going to go. Is it Chris Klein?
Yeah. He's average at best.
I mean, dude, less time in the weight room, more time on acting. Like, I get it. Yeah, you're buff, but he's just a meathead trying to act.
They thought he was going to be the next Ashton Kutcher, but he's not.
He was in one other movie after the American Pie series, and I saw it, and it was so awful. And he was so awful in it. And I said at the time, like, his career is done.
Yeah.
And I saw him now. He's actually a hot dog vendor in Daytona, Sabret's. But still, he makes a great dog.
Chris Klein is?
I might be embellishing that, but still, let's go with that story. He's a great hot dog vendor in Daytona Beach.
It's not a bad
and he'll put some slaw, some extra. You want some extra raw onions? He's got them.
Sounds kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. But no, he just simply cannot act. It's just, and his character, like the whole choir thing, and it's just like, come on, man.
Well, look, man, him and Stifler's mom. I mean, Eugene Levy and Stifler's mom tied this whole thing in from the get-go. Like they were not main characters, but they were the main characters. You know, I mean, it was just, and then Reunion, Finch's mom too. But anyways, that's for another day.
I forgot about Reunion.
Yeah, Finch's mom came into play at the very end.
Finch's Bob? Wow.
Yeah, it's by the way, Phil, you've got a compliment here from Nat. She says, "Hi guys, looking good, especially the guy on the end." So,
thanks, Nat. I
very
appreciate
kind
that.
of her. Yeah, very kind.
Jeez.
All right, y'all want to scramble? I think this is a fun scramble today. And well, not just Mike, all of you. I felt like I mentioned this before with JC and Phil, but I know not with you. Maybe I haven't. So I got a little something in there that might make your eyelids raise just a tad. Eyebrows, eyelids, either one. Both of them.
I hope my eyelids will raise.
Yeah.
If they're lowered, it's going to be a really boring segment.
Gold jacket, green jacket. All right, hit it, Phil. Let's scramble then.
It's time for the morning show scramble. On Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Presented by Recoat Revolution. Beautiful, like new floors in just one day. Part of the Chief Sports Network.
All right, I've got a little bit of news here. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If we want to come back to it, that's fine. This has nothing to do with the scramble, but it did hit my inbox. Just letting folks know, because some people might be purchasing season tickets. The 2027 SEC men's basketball schedule for the Gamecocks is out. Again, I'm not going to run through the whole thing. We knew who the opponents were. But, Mike, I've just noticed something different as a voice of men's basketball in the league. We have one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 18 games have ors next to them. Tuesday or Wednesday. Or Wednesday. That's new.
Yeah, as someone who does both Tuesday and Wednesday, I mean, there's no specific advantage of being Tuesday or Wednesday. A lot of that will have to do with what game goes on ESPN, what goes on SEC Network.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the ratings are the same on Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't see a Sunday game. Do you?
No, it's all Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays.
Yeah, and I know the league wants a little Sunday love. They really want some ABC love. I mean, the Big Ten is all over CBS and Fox, and there was a time where, the men's games one a week was on CBS. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'll find out how that's going to look, because I do know the league. I think they had 2 last year, and they were very happy to have at least that, but they would like some more.
Interesting. All right. Well, the schedule's out for anybody that wants to check
I guess the question I had on it, it's on the release, it says the days will be finalized in the coming weeks. So my question is this is it like football where they'll decide, is it Tuesday or Wednesday based on, is it flex scheduling or will they finalize this quickly?
I don't think it's flex scheduling, because unlike football, they typically the hay is in the barn on what day you play, and what now they might flex some networks.
Yeah.
So you could be on E2 and get bumped up to ABC if it happens to just 2 teams that surprise the world. South Carolina 3 years ago, man, time flies. That was a classic flex candidate because nobody thought they'd be any good. And then they wind up winning 26 games. And all of a sudden it's like, well, why don't we see if we can get them some primo time slots and whatnot? So they're trying to have some versatility in that regard.
Interesting. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Coming weeks, they'll finalize the whole thing. They're just letting you know in which order right now these games are being played. All right, fair enough. All right, who wants to start here on the scramble? We'll go to the good-looking man at the end then, I guess. JC, maybe somebody will compliment you before the day's over.
I hope so.
Name a little background here. Last year, of the 16 teams chosen by the media, ranking them 1 through 16 in the preseason, just one of those 16 teams actually finished where they were picked. That was Tennessee. It was picked 9th in the preseason, finished 9th in the postseason. All the other 15, they did not finish where they were selected. So name an SEC team in the media poll that will or won't live up to expectations.
Won't.
Will or won't. You can choose. It's up to you.
I'm going with Ole Miss because expectations are awfully, awfully high out there.
They're picked 3rd.
And I think when you look at their roster and Chambliss coming back, it's fair. I would probably pick them 3rd. But number 1, it's Ole Miss. Number 2, they'll probably lose to LSU in week 3 at home, and it'll beat them a couple of more times. Number 4, Pete Golding's not Lane Kiffin. And John David Baker is not Lane Kiffin. And Lane Kiffin gives you a tactical advantage on the sidelines because he's a gifted play caller. I'm not coming off this play calling matters thing this year. I'm tired of just denying it because it does. And there's way more examples of coaches making changes to people that actually know what the hell they're doing and progressing, and then just replacing some guy that could call, or replacing a dude with some guy. And this is what will happen with A&M too this year. And they go backward and everybody wonders why. And they don't want to blame coaching. So I'm done with that. I'm right. The stats do not lie. The narrative does not lie. And I just wanted to say that has nothing to do with Ole Miss, but I think 8-4-ish, for them when you look at their schedule. They're still gonna be a very good football team, and I could be wrong, but I think a lot of people are just missing that about, what happened last year. Could be wrong though.
And notice I didn't say give you an easy layup because Oklahoma being picked 7th here was shocking to me. So that wasn't. And the question is, an SEC team that will or won't live up to the expectations of the media poll, and why?
Yeah, and the won't, that would kind of still be a won't, but
well, yeah, it is a won't. No.
Because they won't be 7; they'll be higher.
You answered it. Yeah.
So, but that being negative, you think won't? That means you're going to be done lower.
What you think, Mike?
Well, the will. I'll always put my money on Kirby and Georgia. Okay.
You think they win the league?
I think they're in Atlanta, and at worst, they get beaten out by Texas. But to me, it's the safest bet every year in the SEC.
Yeah.
Herbie's the coach. Stockton is the quarterback. I'll put my money. And to expect Georgia 2 years in a row to not be able to get to the quarterback, which they struggled, and I'm trying to think what their other big struggle was. And their running game wasn't great. I mean, Georgia last year, I don't have the stats in front of me, but they were not a great running team. And we know it's not because Mike Bobo doesn't like running the ball. That's for damn sure. But I just think that, like I said before, last year was a bizarro world. I mean, Georgia couldn't run. They couldn't rush the passer. Texas couldn't block or run. Tennessee couldn't defend. Alabama couldn't run. And Florida couldn't do anything. So it was a weird year. I think a lot of those things change, including Georgia. So that's the safest bet to me. I agree on Ole Miss. I mean, if you're making me pick somebody they're not going to be bad. They would just take a step back. They would just take a step back because you lose Lane and you lose your OC. So yeah, of course, play calling matters. And you had 5 offensive coordinator changes, not including LSU poaching one. You had 3 this is the one thing that people are not talking about. 3 new defensive coordinators in the SEC, and a big one in Knoxville, because Tennessee couldn't defend the group you see on the screen here today. And they bring in a guy that's got a proven record everywhere.
Do you know Tennessee led or was second in the SEC to South Carolina, or was tied with them for non-offensive touchdowns last year? And they had like 5 or 6 pick sixes. I don't know if some of them may have come in those games where they score 80 against people.
Right.
Right. I was surprised about that because they couldn't stop anybody, but apparently it's place.
Yeah, people just moved up and down the field on them.
But you got 8 new defensive coordinators in the league this year. Half the league's got a new DC.
Correct. 3 headliners is kind of what I was going at, and the OCs. Because I think this is as big a storyline in some cases as the coaches. John David Baker comes from ECU. You've got Joel Gordon at Auburn. Buster Faulkner, who came from Gordon, by the way, was at Tennessee in 22. Faulkner, who came from Georgia Tech. And they're not going to run the same offense that they ran at Georgia Tech with Haynes King. That's not Faulkner. Faulkner's got spread, throw it around DNA in him. Will Stein brings in Joe Sloan.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas brought in Tim Cramsey from Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Basically just followed Silverfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
So JC's right. I mean, that's a big storyline, not just to Carolina, of course, and everybody is high on Bryles, but there's some other teams too that made a big change there, and it'd be interesting to see how they work.
Like A&M promoted Holman Wiggins from within, right? Career assistant, NFL college receivers coach. And, Colin Klein was excellent and a perfect fit for Marcel Reed's skill set. Well, I'm reading about the Aggies in the offseason. It's like, well, Holman wants to put in some NFL stuff. And I'm like, boy, if I were an Aggie fan, be careful. Be careful. First-time play caller, never called a play in his life, wants to put in NFL stuff. I don't know. I've seen that movie before. Not just here. Not just here. That's why I groaned when he said Joe Sloan. Will Stein, great play caller, great offensive guy. At his press conference, everything was great. But you know what he said? I'm not calling plays. Joe Sloan's going to call the plays. And I'm like, I saw that during the Brad Scott era at South Carolina. I mean, at Spurrier too. I mean, I've just lived through it here, and I've seen it elsewhere, man. I mean, it just, I don't know why these guys that get paid all this money can't figure that out that matters. But anyway, I sound more frustrated than I really am with it. I'm just like,
well, you're right. I mean, the trend of I made my bones, Godfather analogy. I made my bones calling plays. And now I'm going to keep doing it as head coach. Those days are almost done completely. there's very few that do both anymore. Head coaches that call plays on offense or defense. It's just they feel like they're so overwhelmed with everything else. Give that to somebody else. Now, obviously, all week long when they're scheming up things and mapping out what are the plays that are going to work, Will Stein's going to be involved in that heavily. Developing quarterbacks. I mean, that's where Will really made his money. When you look at what he did at Oregon with 3 transfer guys.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes to like in the heat of the moment, you might have a headset on, but the coordinator's the one calling all the plays.
Yeah, Stein was really good at Texas San Antonio too. Before
that's right.
Yeah, but I mean, he and Sloan are just way different to me. I mean, I don't know. I hope, but like you mentioned the quarterback like Gordon at Auburn. Alex Gold is just running what Heupel's running, what they ran in South Florida. But Gordon's the guy. Heupel kind of calls it, but he has a coordinator, Joey Hazel at Tennessee. That calls it too. But you're right about that. It's very nuanced, but very interesting. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off track. Sorry.
No, that's actually that's a subject in its own.
Yes,
very well said.
Because they're all going to be taught. It's not just Bryles. Like all these guys are going to be under a severe spotlight.
Yeah.
And how do they do for those? Every one of those teams I mentioned, with the exception of LSU too. I mean, they all are coming off disappointing seasons. And so they're there to save it. Please work your magic. Dial some things up that'll work.
For what it's worth, the longest tenured defensive coordinator in the league, Clayton White at South Carolina.
All right, he's 2 years for being, or 1 year he'll tie Richard Bell for the longest D coordinator in the modern era.
Wow, good stat. Nice. All right, Phil. Give me the name of a week 1 game that is flying under the radar or it isn't being talked about enough.
Oh, you know what? You switched up the.
Yeah, I know. I had for
okay. I had an answer ready for that first one. That's all right. That's all right.
Sorry about. Okay, go ahead. You can give the answer and move on.
Oh, you're good.
Did you say which Gamecock game or which game?
Week 1 game in the SEC flying under the radar or not being discussed enough.
Oh, okay. In the SEC.
In the SEC. So,
we're drilling it down real nice. Okay, good.
Sorry about that.
Let's see. No. All good. It's golly, this is a tough one because there aren't that many marquee games in the SEC. You know what though? I'm going with the last one. I'm going with Louisville and Ole Miss.
I don't think you're wrong on that either, by the way.
No,
I mean, better be very careful.
That's got trap written all over.
That might be more marquee than you think. That's in Nashville, by the way.
Yeah. I'm with Phil on that. I've got a different game. I don't think the game's been talked about enough.
Well, yeah, because everybody's just got a sugar high still on Ole Miss.
That's what I'm saying.
And Louisville is like, Brom, hell of a coach, but.
Yeah, they won 9 games last year.
Yeah, they won 9 games, and most people couldn't tell you 2 people that were on the roster. Like, he is one hell of a coach.
Yeah.
You're not going to pry him out of there because it's his alma mater, and Louisville has enough money. But, damn, that guy can coach, and he never has elite talent across the board. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of have that game as one where, like, I want to see it regardless. So it's not completely under the radar. But yeah, I would certainly put that up there. And I would tell you, if you want to go really off the radar that no one's talking about, the Moscow Mule in Atlanta taking on the Baylor Bears. That's Moscow Mule is coach of Auburn, born in Moscow. Don't lose that game. Mm-hmm. Do not lose that game, or Auburn fans will be apoplectic. Remember, they won last year in Waco. This is in Atlanta, which might as well be a home game. There's a ton of Auburn fans in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. You want to get off to the right start over there.
Phil, by the way, to back up your point on that, and again, and because what the reason that I agree with you, and I think the reason you're saying this is because of what Mike just said. It's like, oh yeah, Ole Miss is playing Louisville. You know, like that's kind of the general, like who did they open with? Well, Louisville on a Sunday night. Oh yeah, that's right. Well, they should beat them without even looking at the schedule. Now look, Louisville's had some games that they look back on, they got throttled at SMU last year. Probably should have beat Clemson at home. If you remember, they lost 20-19. They lost that strange game to Cal. Everybody was going, how the hell did they lose to Cal? But keep in mind, Friday night last year, remember they beat Miami. The year before, they went to Clemson and beat Clemson by 12 points. They lost on the road at Notre Dame by only a touchdown that year. Remember that awful situation at the end of the Miami game in 2024? Like these funky games, Friday nights, highly ranked teams. This is in Nashville on a Sunday night. Louisville's always in the ball game, always. And I just think Ole Miss needs to. Pete Golding has never had to prepare a team for a season like this where you've had months and months of hoopla. I'll just be curious to see what Ole Miss looks like when they come out of the gates, Phil. I think that was a good pick.
Yeah. Louisville's not a far drive from Nashville either. They do have a large fan base. They'll travel, so there's no Ole Miss advantage there. Isaac Brown, running back for Louisville, he's back. And they have another back that I think is better than him. So the run defense better show up.
All right, I got one for you. Y'all ready for this? You ready? Florida better be careful with Florida Atlantic. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
Florida Atlantic is going to start 17 seniors this year, okay? 3 Power 4 offensive linemen, and their quarterback has thrown for almost 7,200 yards in the last 2 years. You better be careful in that week 1 opener. I'm not saying they're going to lose the game. I'm saying, and it's a Saturday night, the place is going to be all fired up. You got the new Mike, you know the Swamp as well as anybody. They're all fired up, waiting all day to finally see these Gators. You might get punched in the mouth, and I'll be curious to see how they respond. I do think they'll win the game, but they better be careful.
If they don't look good in that, there's going to be hell to pay in week 1. That's a fan base that is like the ultimate just battered spouse at this point. And they've been sold that John Summerall, based on results, but Billy Napier had results at that level. More often than not, what I hear about Summerall is they love his attitude. They love his toughness. They love that's great. But on the field for 3.5 hours is what really counts. And they're still figuring out who their quarterback is. I mentioned they've got a new offensive coordinator, obviously. Now, they do have some weapons this year on offense, starting with the guy in the backfield, Jaden Ball, who should be an all-SEC back. And they've got, seems like forever that they've had talented wideouts, but they've got a pair that are pretty damn good. But if they tap dance with FAU for 4 quarters, that'll not be met very well.
I don't know that it would be indicative of how the season would ultimately go, but remember, as bad as Florida's offense was last year, their defense wasn't really that good either.
They haven't had a good defense in forever. I mean, that's the thing. Like they haven't been good at much of anything, with the exception of 2020, the COVID year.
Yeah,
they wound up with this again alien tight end and Kyle Pitts, who's been a bust with the Falcons, but that's another story. And Kyle Trask, who you could have gotten off the scrap heap for a carton of eggs. That team was good and made it to the SEC championship game. Since then, they've been an unmitigated disaster. And so Faulkner's great in front. I mean, all those coaches were good in front of a podium. Shane's always good in front of a podium. Lane actually dialed it back, but he doesn't have to be good in front of a podium. He's just good, period. Will Stein, he was like Muhammad Ali out there. He channeled his inner Signetti. Google me. I'm the reason why we're going to win a lot more games. That's great until you have to actually win them. Until you actually line up against the other team that's going to be more talented than you are. So we'll see. We'll see.
You got one you want to squeeze in, JC?
Yes. Along those lines, East Carolina at Alabama. Right. So
Chris
check
Lowe,
this out.
Chris Lowe's got that too, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. So it's an 11 a.m. kickoff in Tuscaloosa, which they hate.
Yep.
East Carolina lost some players out of the portal, but returned a nice nucleus. They hired the North Texas offensive coordinator. Now, the head coach was calling the plays out there. They got a really nice transfer class. Plus, the head coach, Blake Harrell's 14-5. This is more along the lines of those East Carolina teams that used to give, I mean, maybe not like back to the 90s, but like other Skip Holtz that would give teams hell. It's not, they're not just going to show up as cannon fodder. You got a first-time starting quarterback at Alabama. You've got questions on the lines of scrimmage for the first time since before Nick Saban got there. Alabama's a 26.5 point favorite. I may take the Pirates. And then, it's on ABC too. It's national, so the whole country is going to look up in the second quarter most likely and see 6-3 or 10-6.
Oh, boy.
And everybody loves to hate on Bama, right?
Right.
So they're going to be like, something's wrong. And then the people in the state are going to want to fire DeBoer on halftime. So I like that just because I know the history of East Carolina. I know they had a hell of a team last year, and they're picked right in that second tier in the American with Texas, San Antonio, Navy, and Memphis are the favorites. But, the American's probably the best mid-major conference, and ECU's a contender. So we'll see what happens.
I read your column. It's very good on your 40 years of following Gamecock football. And ECU, the ghost of Steve Logan, on the low point is on there multiple times.
They could not be the Tannehill team that won the first bowl game ever lost at home to East Carolina 56-42.
Yeah.
The 96 team, Deuce Staley and Anthony Wright, had a winning season. And what kept them out of a bowl, they lost at home to ECU. This time it was 23-7. So totally different type of victory. East Carolina. Man.
I remember when I first got to Columbia and taking calls, and I'm looking at the big games on the schedule, and I'm like, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, and people are like, Mike, don't sleep on ECU. They got our number. And I did a deep dive, and I'm like, you know what? You're not lying. And then sure enough, ECU put on another loss in the series for Carolina.
I mean,
ECU almost they were better. They were the better team.
Yeah,
ECU almost did. If y'all remember, they were giving it to the Gamecocks in 2011 in the opener up in Charlotte, and Steven Garcia came in the second half in place of Connor and had to save the game. Steven played really well in the second half of that game, and Carolina came back and won.
That was a time. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
No, Lincoln Riley was the OC at ECU then.
Was he really? I forgot about that. I remember Jeff Blake, and I remember. They usually had a more than capable running back in there, had a couple of stud linebackers. I go back and I think of that time frame. That's when you had an ECU, a Southern Miss. Like these were programs that we now consider Group 5, Group 6. But they weren't that far off from a middle-of-the-road SEC program. Now that gap is much more substantial, and ECU and Southern Miss have they've wallowed in being lower tiered. I mean, Tulane is like one of the few that can really, it just seems like they're always good enough to beat an SEC team, but most of them are not.
Yeah. And TD Knoll brought up the year one under Beamer. We all remember that fully. Carolina had to come back and win that game as well. Matter of fact, JC and I talked about that on the phone one time. Shane Beamer might not be the head coach here if they lost that game because they wouldn't have gone to a bowl in 2021. The difference, I mentioned 2011, and you're right. You're totally right. Matter of fact, there probably isn't much of a difference, but 2011, South Carolina was a preseason top 15 team, and everybody was like, "Oh no, not again," and it took scoring 30 points or something in the second half. But yeah, East Carolina, I'm good if Carolina doesn't schedule them.
One thing my dad told me when I was a kid, because it was 1989 and East Carolina came in there, and I remember we were sitting in West Upper and the visitor section was still the same place. There's this pocket of blue and gold, and they're raising all kinds of hell. I mean, their fans are really good fans, and they don't think they should ever lose. And ECU got up 14-3 in the first quarter. Carolina ended up winning 47-14. My dad looked at me after that started. He said, "Son, that right there is a hellacious little school, East Carolina."
Yeah.
That's always stuck with me, a hellacious little school.
Well,
and not even that little.
Nah, it's a 56,000 seat
Yeah.
If it wasn't for politics, it might be in the ACC.
If it was, there's two things. Chuck Oliver and I always talked about this because back in the old CSS days, we did our fair share of games at ECU. They were like the power of CUSA. If they didn't have such bad geography, have you ever tried to get to Greenville, North Carolina?
Oh yeah,
it's not a fun place to get to. There's just no easy way to do it.
Kind of
if
comes
they were
out of nowhere, honestly.
if they were like in Raleigh, they would have already been in the Power Four somewhere. Because everything, they tailgate like an SEC school. They have enrollment is high. They get good numbers for their games, but they are in follow the yellow brick road in the middle of nowhere, and you'll find their campus.
Famous ECU alum, real quick, Sandra Bullock.
Oh, well, all right. Yeah.
Sandy.
That was when she had an authentic nose.
Oh. I didn't notice. All right, we got to go to a timeout.
I made JC red. My day is already complete.
You just crushed my dreams. I used to be in love with her, man. God.
Oh, everybody will. I got to tell you, you're not her type. You need like 17 tattoos and a Born to Lose t-shirt. That's who Sandra Bullock has gone for traditionally.
Well, we got through 2 of the 5. Well done, gentlemen. It only took 35 minutes to get there. But that's all right.
I ran my mouth. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're all good at that. Mike takes to a timeout.
Okay, let me tell you about Gary Patterson, now the newest member of the ACC officiating crews, or one of the head guys a part of that, and a guy that has already helped multiple listeners with their insurance needs. That's right. We even had a couple people thank him personally in the chat box. We love to hear that. We love to hear folks that frequent our sponsors. Gary Patterson, one of the best out of Lou Golf, but he serves not only the entire state of South Carolina. If you're a Gamecock fan in Charlotte, Atlanta, or anywhere in between, he's got you covered. You'll pay less, you'll get more, and you can always deal with Gary directly as opposed to some random teenager in India who could care less about you or your problems. 803-438-5000, the number, 803-438-5000, or you can also go to GaryPatterson.net.
11:39, final break of hour 2. We'll be right back.
Gamecock Traditions is your Nike superstore and your home for anything and everything with a South Carolina logo. Visit us in the Midlands and order online at GamecockTraditions.com. Go Gamecocks!
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Gary Patterson for your personal price plan today.
Walk me through the toughest case or situation we've had to handle without names or locations. Just what was the toughest situation?
The hardest one was there was an individual that defended themselves in their home, and they're still criminally charged. And there was evidence that they were, being sought after for something that they weren't technically involved in. And they're being charged criminally because they defended themselves inside of their own home for doing what was right and what we believe at Right to Bear to be a human right.
TheBigSpur.com, now part of On3. Join for just $1 today.
When you buy and sell your sports and fitness gear at Play It Again Sports, you support a local business. We pay our customers for their quality used sports and fitness gear and resell it, recycling it back into your community. Support local, score savings.
Palm Casual Patio Furniture presents our coverage of South Carolina football. Visit palmcasual.com today. Make your outdoor space the best it can be. Go Gamecocks.
The State Farm Personal Price Plan helps you create an affordable price just for you.
Contact local agent Gary Patterson for your personal price plan today.
A really common fear in a workman's compensation case is what's going to happen to my job if I report this injury? And my answer to that is you still need to report your injury. I'm dealing directly with the insurance company, and the insurance company is going to treat you like a file number. So let me make sure that doesn't happen to you. Let me get involved in your workman's compensation case.
Coffee, weekday mornings with JC Sherbert. Watch or listen on the Chief Sports app, the Chief Sports YouTube page, and available on Apple and Spotify.
Bring on your forces of nature. Bring on the storm that's raging. If you get lost in the shadows, there's a fire inside you. Be the light that guides you. Come on, carry your flame. Carry it higher. Even in the darkness, carry your torches. Come on, carry your flame. Set the night on fire. Even in the darkness, carry your torches.
And JC up on thebigspur.com, where you can subscribe to $1. Also, our friends at Four Quarter Friday. If you are a fan of high school athletics in the state, it's really picking up steam. We're getting closer and closer. Go to fourquarterfriday.com, $1, and then you get 50% off the rest of the year. And that will also, of course, give you access to our content over at the Big Spur and Gamecock Central and the fine job that they're doing at fourquarterfriday.com. Of course, that show airs on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Fourquarterfriday.com, covering literally head to toe high school athletics here in South Carolina.
All right, it's got their radio on.
Let me ask you.
Hold on.
Let me ask everybody a question here. All right, if you look at week 1 in the SEC, okay, here are the lines. Okay, week 1 in the SEC. Let's say that everything comes true. All right, we're looking at the point spreads here, and they all, maybe, I don't know if they cover or not, but they all favor the league winning all of their games, and that happens. So the tricky ones, Ole Miss 6.5-point favorite over Louisville, LSU a 10.5-point favorite over Clemson in week 1. I'm talking about games here that could be in jeopardy. Auburn is a touchdown favorite currently against Baylor. Alabama is a 26.5-point favorite against East Carolina. You pointed that out earlier. JC, I pointed out Florida. They're 26.5-point favorites, but I don't think they're going to cover that. All right, so the SEC, it all comes true. They win every game in week 1. Let's go through just look at week 3. If y'all can pull up your, I know by now that y'all have your handy dandy SEC helmet schedules. And, they've got to be right in front of your face. There's no way after a month of this that you don't have one. How many teams in the SEC would you say today, Monday, July the 27th, you would expect to be 3-0 after 3 weeks of play?
After 3 weeks?
After 3 weeks. Little sample size here.
Man, nothing.
Okay, Alabama's got ECU at Kentucky and Florida State. Would you expect them to be 3-0?
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. I think that, look, that Florida State thing that happened last year, and by the way, we predicted that, if anybody remembers, in the summer. We kept saying, you better be careful, and they lost. That is not the same situation this go around. But Kentucky in week 2, and I do think Alabama will beat Kentucky in week 2, but I will give Kentucky some credit here now. That is a big moment for them. They will show up and play football that day. Alabama's not going to walk in there and just wipe the floor with them, I don't think. But I agree. I do think they should be 3-0. Arkansas's got Utah and Georgia, and they're out of this. How about Auburn, Baylor, Southern Miss, Florida? Should we expect them to be 3-0? I would say no, right?
I put them down as a no.
I don't expect them to beat Baylor or Florida.
Yeah, I'll say no on that.
Okay.
Auburn, Florida is one of the best sneaky good conference games through the first 3 weeks. Because there really aren't that many.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. They're two different.
And that's going to be the new Coach Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought Golish would go to Florida. A lot of people thought Summerall would go to Auburn. And so that's the first. Now, in fairness to Golish, That's a little bit bigger of a rebuild. That sounds crazy because Florida was 4-8, but if you just look at the rosters, I think Auburn's a little bit more of a rebuild.
I agree.
The blue chip ratio for Florida is 56%.
Yeah.
And Auburn's down to the 30s, 32. Right?
Yeah.
Not that matters for everything, but you know.
Oh, actually, I like that. Where are you getting that? Is that
On3 has it? Like
for everybody?
Calculated. Yeah, you just go to the roster team pages and you can toggle through, and it's
I like
easily,
that. Yeah,
easily. I did not do all the math and count up all the.
No, I like that. I mean, I just know, having seen both those teams in person last year and looking at what they lost in additions, for my money, Florida is a better roster. But
there's no Jaden Ball. There's none of those outside receivers. Florida's got a really good D end. I mean, Florida's got some pieces.
All right, so we wouldn't expect either one of those teams to beat one another. Georgia's got Tennessee State, Western Kentucky at Arkansas. They're expected to be 3-0, right?
Yeah,
that's 2. Kentucky, we've already crossed that bridge with them. LSU, they've got Clemson, Louisiana Tech at Ole Miss. We don't expect them to beat Ole Miss. I think a lot of people expect. So they're not expected to be 3-0. I'm not saying would you be surprised. Do we expect them to be 3-0? And I would say the answer to that is no. They got to go to Oxford.
Imagine if they lost to Clemson in week 1.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, crazier things have happened.
No, look, I got a feeling about that too, because last year the narrative was Clemson. Oh, Clemson. This year it's going to be all Lane Kiffin. They're going to mop the floor with the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of it's a theory I call like the former power theory.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody hopes Clemson's a former power. I don't know. And I derived it one year when Lane Kiffin had 60 scholarship players. It was at Southern Cal. He just goes up and beats Oregon randomly.
Mm-hmm.
At Eugene, knocked him out of the undefeated playoff scenario when Chip Kelly was there. Or Virginia Tech going to Ohio State and winning that year, where they had all summer to game plan. Clemson has enough pieces to give them problems. And if LSU is not focused, they got a bunch of transfers. It could happen, and we're all going to be sitting here talking about how good Clemson is. And then LSU will go 10-2, and Clemson will go 7-5. That's just how it works.
All right. So Ole Miss and LSU, obviously, we don't know what to expect in that game. Mississippi State has Monroe at Minnesota and South Carolina. We don't expect them to be 3-0. Missouri has Arkansas, Pine Brook at Kansas and Troy. We all agree we expect them to be 3-0. We expect them to beat Kansas.
I think so.
Lawrence,
I don't know, man. That's a
night.
rivalry.
Kansas finally lost Daniels. It felt like he was there for about 27 years.
Forever.
Kansas gave them problems. I mean, the score ended up being a blowout, but that was a fourth quarter game last year in Como.
Okay, so you're saying you don't expect?
I expect them to. They always they're
a
good
healthy. If Hardy is healthy, a healthy Hardy would be a hearty dose of running the ball all over Kansas.
And okay, so then
I did there.
Then they're that's well done. So then they're 3-0. Okay,
yeah.
Oklahoma's one challenge in the first 3 is at Michigan. Does anybody expect them to be 3-0?
Yeah, I do. I'm on record months ago saying Oklahoma's going to be
that's
Michigan
no problem.
at home. No problem. Gonna go up there and handle that.
Y'all agree with that? I don't know that I'm going to go that far, but I think they'll win the game. And I don't know that I'm just saying I just flat out expect them to.
That game, all right, so everybody was like, so I read something about that game. Somebody's crapping on Bryce Underwood. And I'm like, you realize Bryce Underwood was a true freshman last year. And obviously there was a lot going on with Michigan football that we didn't know about. And I'm like, chances are with Utah's head coach and their very fine offensive coordinator, Bryce Underwood's going to play a little better. Plus the game's up there. Plus Michigan's going to be able to match whatever physicality Oklahoma throws at them. Yeah. It's all going to come down to Underwood surviving the Brent Venables mind screw of the defense. And if he can, there's people wide open against that defense all the time. And it's at the big house, man. The big house. I mean, come on.
Where
people just write them off.
Program's going to die. Oh, wait, that's LSU.
Yeah. Anyway, but said by a Michigan man Jamie,
that's true.
less miles. So that's where you get that. So anyway, I expect Oklahoma to be undefeated. I that's my expectation, but I think too many people are just writing Michigan off.
I'm not. I don't expect them to be undefeated. All right, Tennessee, Furman at Georgia Tech, Kennesaw State. I think we all expect Tennessee to be 3-0. They're not losing at Georgia Tech.
No, this is a year much like Vanderbilt. Tech takes a step back.
Lockstep there.
Haynes King was everything for them, and they also had Buster Faulkner. They don't have either one right now, so I think Tech takes. They already took a step back in the second half of last year, but I think they take a significant one this year.
There's only one challenge in the first 3 games for the Longhorns. They will welcome Ohio State to town. Is anybody really out on that limb saying we just expect Texas to be 3-0 with Ohio State coming in? Because I'm certainly not in that boat.
Not
all
at
right.
all.
How about A&M, Missouri State, Arizona State, Kentucky? We expect them to be 3-0, correct?
Yes.
Y'all agree with that? JC agrees. Phil agrees. And Vanderbilt is interesting here. Austin Peay and Delaware, they shouldn't have an issue with the Austin Peers and the Blue Hens of Delaware. I don't know Austin Peay's nickname, so they're just
the Governors.
Oh, okay. But week 3, they've got NC State. That's your boy Dave Doran, Schubert. Does anybody expect Vanderbilt to be 3-0 with NC State coming to Nashville in week 3?
I don't. I think Vanderbilt will be one of the Magnificent Seven.
That's right.
Wins for NC State.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But that's.
There's a lot of assumptions going on with them too in the other direction. Oh, Jared Curtis is a 5-star. He'll be fine, dude. That kid played dog crap competition in the Nashville 3A league in a private school. He's not even scheduled to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think people are like, oh well, yeah, Pavia's gone. That's fine. They'll keep. And I love the kill zone. Don't get me wrong, but
we know you do. Yeah.
As Mike always says, with no quarterback.
I know this is going to be a very big. Let's see. The Gamecocks are going into that week with Mississippi State. Phil, I need you to get your little counter. Do you remember the counters that umpires? Pitching coaches. Used to
I still have mine.
Count pitches. I've got
that umpires use.
Get the counter that just runs up like pitch totals. And get 2 of them actually, and see whose name is mentioned more in this 5 days leading into that weekend: Dave Doran or Killzone by Schubert. Because I'll guarantee you, those 2 will be more than Beamer for sure. With the 2 of them opposed. All right, so South Carolina.
Can you imagine the national narrative though after Ole Miss, LSU, and Vanderbilt all lose to ACC teams in those first 3 weeks? About how much more dominant the ACC is going to be.
Throw Michigan beating Oklahoma and Texas losing to Ohio State on top of that.
Yeah. You might as well just bury the SEC at that. It's over.
All right, Carolina. Do we all expect them to be 3-0 after Mississippi State?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
But I mean that game's scary.
I expect them to be 3-0.
I got anxiety over it, but I have the same anxiety, as when I board a plane. But my expectation is that I get off the plane and walk away. So I say yes. I expect South Carolina to be 3-0, albeit with some trepidation.
I think the best thing that could happen
that way. All right,
for Carolina is for Mississippi State to beat Minnesota the week before.
Because they're all high and mighty after. Yeah, you don't just get.
You play 2 teams like Kent and Towson, and you get a lot of false confidence.
All right, so
so you want Carolina to kind of.
If this all plays itself out, you're saying after week 3, we got 6 undefeated teams in the SEC: Alabama, Georgia, Missouri, Tennessee, A&M, and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Would y'all buy that? Carolina's one of 6 teams in the SEC undefeated after week 3.
After 3, yeah.
I'd say that's the floor.
Be a pretty good start. And then
but that's. I mean, you mentioned some of those cupcakes on there.
Sure.
Now with the 9-game slate, that game, what used to be a potential enticing Power 4 non-con. Those games are done. If you have what Carolina and Georgia and Florida, when you had the ACC rivalry game at the end of the year, that game now, that other non-conference game, the other 2, it's Cupcake City.
Yeah.
For most teams. Georgia's not going to play that game, and Alabama's not going to do it. And Texas is probably not going to do it. But most SEC teams are going to go cupcake.
So the question that I have is, we know, as we discussed earlier at the top of the program, the media in Tampa this past week, whatever that media was made up of, whomever and whatever. The guy who doesn't watch a lick of a lot of these teams gets the same vote that Chris Lowe does, for whatever that's worth. But a lot of the national guys looking at Carolina, David Pollock was big on him the other day. David Pollock was very outspoken. Hey, look, this team could shock a bunch of people, and here's why. But so you got some national guys paying attention. You got a lot of other people not paying attention. What would, even after 2 cupcakes and a win over Mississippi State, again, people are glancing at it going, well, shoot, they're 3-0. Well, God, my God, they scored 42, they scored 45, and they scored 34 in that game. What would the narrative be then if South Carolina is one of 6 teams, regardless of what it looks like, undefeated going into week 4 at Alabama?
It only really matters how they look against Mississippi State. The first 2 games mean nothing. I don't care if it's 63-0 both weeks. Nada. Kent State is awful. They are essentially a 1AA team. Towson, I didn't know, had a football program. Mississippi State, even if you consider them lower third in the league, which most people would, people are now hearing about Camario Taylor. You want to do an over-under? How many times do you hear the adjective dynamic when talked about Camario Taylor? Every quarterback that can run is dynamic. He's dynamic. Oh, he's dynamic. Same reason why a lot of the media is infatuated with Byron Brown, who may or may not be good at Auburn. But that's the game you're going to be. The hype train is either going to be there or it's not. If you squeak one out, then depending on how you look, then the hype train will leave, at least for the time being, and then you can get the hype train right back if you look good against Alabama.
I think Alabama is the narrative for South Carolina if they're 3-0. Well, maybe, but we're going to see how they do in Tuscaloosa this Saturday.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People outside of South Carolina are not going to be giddy with a 3-0 start over Towson, Kent State, and Mississippi State.
No.
Like, that's not going to send off the alarms that I told you this was going to be a 10-win season. But if you look good against Alabama, again, my game of the year is Tennessee. I think that's going to have a lot of either good vibes or negative vibes, depending on how Carolina does. That game is at home. Tennessee still does not know who its quarterback is. And there's other games, obviously. You go to the Swamp. You got A&M again. There's a lot of games you could circle. But no, I don't think 3-0 is what those 3 opponents are going to get everybody. But if you just completely wallop State and the offense is humming, now people could jump on it based on style points as much as anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if Alabama's undefeated too, that's slated for the evening kickoff, and so they'd probably move it to ABC in prime time. That's my guess. I mean,
yes, no doubt.
I don't know what the slot is for Oklahoma, Georgia, or A&M, LSU that weekend. But I mean, if Carolina is undefeated and is playing well, then they'll, just by virtue of playing a primetime game in Tuscaloosa, they'll be a lot. Gosh, Texas and Tennessee's already set for a noon kickoff on the banks of the Tennessee River that morning. So
yeah, Oklahoma and Georgia's a flex.
So it's a flex. So it could be at night. And what about A&M and LSU? At LSU.
That's also flexed.
Damn, that's a hell of a week.
Week 4 is probably the best week of the season in the SEC on paper as it stands today, without records obviously involved. But you're talking about South Carolina at Alabama. You're talking about Vanderbilt at Auburn, Ole Miss at Florida, Oklahoma at Georgia, A&M at LSU, Missouri at Mississippi State, and Texas is at Tennessee.
Don't forget, Tulsa takes the short drive to Fayetteville that night.
Yeah, I better. Yeah.
I dug into Arkansas the other day.
Come on,
guys.
Arkansas. Come on.
Feel bad.
Yeah, they got a ways to go. We'll see where they are in November, but they got a ways to go. Well, Kentucky's got South Alabama, the fighting Mark Calvies. Wrong sport, but if they fight like Mark Calvi, they got a chance. Yeah.
Fire Mark Calvi.
Fire him.
Hey, Calvi. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. That's it. I had 2 hours of content, and that's it. That's all
It's
we
a
got.
great discussion today, gentlemen.
It was. I like it.
I don't know what I'm talking about now.
I
Point
know
Break
that.
came out like 35 years ago yesterday.
Well, I
missed that.
That's a great preseason conversation to have. Yeah.
For my Braves fans out there, Ronald Acuna back in the lineup tonight.
Oh, so how long will he be in it until he's out again? 2 weeks?
Probably about a month.
Yeah.
No, just wrap them in bubble wrap and keep them healthy for the postseason. See what happens.
It's National Scotch Day. Are any of you Scotch fans? I'm not a big Scotch fan.
Been to Scotland, been to Edinburgh. Woodmore, I think is what it's called. One of the best scotches I've ever had. Still love it to this day. It's not that different than bourbon, Jamie.
Yeah,
It's one of the. I'll put
good
a little
scotch,
on my
I
lips, you know. But I don't. 21st birthday, I drank some scotch.
Once it hits your lips, so good.
Nah, it's actually one. It's a very slow sipping. Like I like the taste of it, but it's I don't. I guess last time I had scotch, my buddy got married. Actually, the day I met my wife was at my best friend's wedding, and her best friend married my best friend. So there's the story there. But
Dalmore,
he was like, "Would you like some scotch?" Because he loves scotch. He's like Anchorman, scotch. Put it in my belly. And that's the last time I've had any. But I understand why people like it. It's very, very tasty.
Oh,
Jamie, try a bottle of Dalmore. It's got the antlers on it. One of the coolest bottles you can buy.
Okay.
And you tell me you don't like that, and I'll be very surprised.
Dude, Jägermeister has anything with antlers, man. Don't do
Anything with antlers is good.
Jägermeister.
This is a killer week on the National Days calendar. We'll remind all. Tomorrow is National Milk Chocolate Day. Mike, go ahead and slip in the plug here. On Wednesday, it is National Chicken Wing Day.
D's. Everybody go to D's.
Thursday,
it's a pitcher of beer with the wings special day at D's. So that's a win-win.
Thursday's dangerous too. National Chili Dog Day and National Cheesecake Day. Whew.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then on Friday, this is near and dear to my heart. It is National Avocado Day on Friday. So
nice.
It'll be.
I'm right there with you.
It's a good week.
Very quietly, I'm a very big avocado fan myself.
I am pretty glad you mentioned scotch because Harrison's 21st birthday is tomorrow.
Oh.
So there you go, boy.
Okay.
All right.
Uncle Mike gave you a recommendation. Time to get wild.
Jace, go ahead and the Dalmore's, I'm not going to lie, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap when you're in Scotland, when you're in Edinburgh. But in the States, at a typical liquor store, it might run you over $100.
Yeah, I was about to say, my 21st, I don't think we were buying that expensive alcohol. It was...
it was Keystone Light, baby.
Yeah.
Pop-off.
Ice House.
What do you have that's less than $3, sir? Well...
The Beast.
We got this open one that nobody
Milwaukee's
wanted.
best. Yeah. We do a whole show on cheap beer. Let's do it. Let's go.
Again, prayers to our friend Jim Toman. Folks, please keep Jim Toman and his entire family in your prayers, and congratulations to Mike Cisco, now officially a Hall of Famer. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Subscribe to thebigspur.com, proud partners of On3.
Gamecock Traditions is your Nike superstore and your home for anything and everything with a South Carolina logo. Visit us in the Midlands and order online at GamecockTraditions.com. Go Gamecocks!
It's time to bring the gym to you. Do it your way on your time in your home. We all have busy lives, kids, work, and anything else that can interrupt our daily routine. Maybe it's free weights or a treadmill. Maybe it's a rower or a home gym. Visit Charleston Fitness Equipment and start taking care of you. Do it your way. CharlestonFitnessEquipment.com. Go Gamecocks!
Visit fourquarterfriday.com and join the Varsity Club for just $1 today.
Whether it's fireside or poolside, if it's time to watch the Gamecocks, Palm Casual will make your outdoor space the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com and come see us at one of our South Carolina locations. Go Gamecocks!
Today and every day, we celebrate our great state of South Carolina. This week, our hometown highlight takes us to the PD in Lake City, home of the great Darla Moore and our friends in Johnsonville. We love the PD.
Hey guys, this is Mason West with the West Law Firm. We want to say hey to all our friends and family out in Lake City and the Johnsonville areas. This is a great football part of the state. We can help y'all out in any way. Give us a call, 843-897-7525.
Clowns are people too. Clowns are people too. Now I own some tiny horns and got me those red shoes. I don't know much, but know one thing that's true. If you don't know anything, just know that clowns are people too.
Now back to the clowns on the Chief Sports Network.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Inside the Gamecocks, the show portion of the live super stream. It is Phil Mad Dog Mullinax here, JC Sherbert in with you to kick off the week, and probably got some chat box questions to dive into. JC, I saw Coffee this morning was about some depth charts. Although all I did was read the headline, I have yet to have a chance to listen this morning. I've been busy this morning, so getting the week kicked off right here. It's kind of counting down the days until summer is over around my house, which is a bittersweet time of the year, man. A bittersweet time of the year.
More sweet than bitter, bitter than sweet. So yeah, I was. They were talking about Georgia Tech earlier, and I looked up who their offensive coordinator is. There, it's a famous name in the history of Georgia Tech football, George Godsey. But, however, guess where he came from, Phil?
No clue.
The National Football League.
Oh,
long career. OC of the
out.
Texans.
Mm-hmm.
He's only been an OC 2 years in the NFL with the Texans. Coached for the Lions, the Dolphins, the Ravens.
Dolphins, yeah. I see.
Well, he did. I guess he coached for Todd Monken with the Ravens this past. Buster Faulkner also coached for Todd Monken. So I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Jackets, my friend.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is Haynes King is not walking through that door this year, and that was essentially
that's
the reason
interesting
for the success.
All right, so so back when Buster Faulkner was at Southern Miss, it was like so he and I had a mutual friend, and so I guess it was Muschamp or Beamer One had an opening, and you'll get calls if you cover a team. Hey, but see, check behind the scenes, see if this guy's in the mix. He's really promoting Buster Faulkner, but I looked at his numbers at Southern Miss, and I was like, I don't know. And this guy, I don't know. They hadn't really, Southern Miss wasn't particularly good. So I don't know. He's got a good reputation. Obviously, worked at Georgia. Obviously, the offense at Georgia Tech worked, especially with King there. He does have some good ideas, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think Florida fans just want to put points on the board. I mean, anything's probably going to be an improvement over what Napier. For the life of me, some of these guys surprise me. Billy Napier, I thought was a pretty good play caller back in 2009. And he's getting involved. And at Louisiana, he was able to just line up and run it all over everybody. You couldn't do that. Can't do that in the SEC.
It's a little tougher. Some guys, have a hard time getting around that learning curve.
Well, I mean, they ask, people talk about Summerall, and I'll tell you who he reminds me of. He reminds me of William Larry Muschamp, who I got a lot of respect for. I don't bash Muschamp. I kind of, I understand where things went wrong with him here, and it's on him, and he'd be the first to tell you that. But the enthusiasm, the personality, the competitiveness, the fire, all that good stuff. I mean, they're very similar people, and I don't know. Muschamp didn't coach at the lower levels before he got the Florida job, but there's a lot of familiarity with that to me. But I don't know, and then coming from Tulane and Troy. Now on the counter side of that with Summerall, Phil. Gosh, somebody did say something when he was hired when they were kind of one of those stupid hiring grade things.
Oh yeah,
those are like NFL draft grades. You just never know.
No,
but the writer mentioned, I don't know if it was Feldman or Dennis who was, I don't know who it was. I like coaches who have won at multiple places, and I think there's something to that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because you can go wrong sometimes getting a guy that's just been good one place. And then he get like the Kyle Whittingham thing at Michigan intrigues me
right
a lot, and the Matt Campbell at Penn State intrigues me too for different reasons. I'll get to that in a second. But with Kyle Whittingham, so he was Urban Meyer's DC, and then Urban left for Florida, and actually kept Charlie. I mean, and Whittingham got the Utah job, so he's been at Utah for 20 years. Right. And won a lot of games. Solid football coach.
Yeah.
Solid. But that's the only place he's done it. And every program is different. Every program has a way to win. What works one place will not work in another. We know that. That's just a fact.
Right.
Facts, bro. Facts. Right. And it's just, I don't know, man. So I'm very intrigued by that. Whereas Summerall's won at two places. Troy and Tulane are kind of new money, old money, kind of smaller level programs. Tulane used to be in the SEC, obviously, and there were some times where they were really good back in the day. They used to play the Sugar Bowl, and they played a Super Bowl at what used to be Tulane Stadium. This 80,000 seat monstrosity down in New Orleans until they built the Superdome. So Tulane, has this rich history, whereas Troy, I don't even know that they played. I mean, they were kind of new to. I think in the 90s they came into D1 football or whatever. I think they were a D2 school for a while. But both programs have a chance,
Right.
I mean, just like Louisiana Lafayette. It's not like he was winning at Monroe or, I don't know, man. I've just got some questions about it. Kreger mentions in the McKellar Enterprises chat box that Jaden Ball is a good start. Yeah, Jaden Ball is really good. I think the quarterback, whoever gets that job, just needs to not mess it up. And they need somebody, obviously, that can distribute the ball to their perimeter playmakers. I did hear some talk about the offensive line down there, having some questions. I think on defense, they got the personnel to probably have the best defense they've had in a while. So I don't know. Florida's a very interesting team to me. It'd be better for the Gamecocks if they didn't have to go down there because they've only won down there twice.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes against the odds, but it's that they're going to be a very interesting football team for me. But a lot of these teams in the SEC, Phil, have big question marks.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think the preseason range of outcomes is greater as a whole, like across the board in the SEC this season, just because you've got all those new faces and new places, head coach. You've got the transfers. Some teams, LSU comes to mind, kind of built on the transfer philosophy.
Yeah.
Although I thought Kiffin explained that very well.
No.
It made good logical sense at ACC Media Days. But you're right, JC. Like when you're looking at this, like it's why. Well, there's a couple of reasons why you don't get offended at where your team is ranked in polls. But coming out of Tampa, ranked 11th by the air quotes media, is not a surprise, just because of all the factors that go into it. And
yeah,
I mean, aside from Georgia and Texas being 1 and 2, it's a dice throw.
South Carolina's never going to get the benefit of the doubt either.
No.
I mean, okay, when expectations are high, we'll put them 5th or 4th,
right.
But immediately when last season was bad, they're down there. That's what surprised me about Oklahoma. I thought, well, Oklahoma, they went to the playoff last year and they still didn't really have a great offense. They couldn't block.
Yeah.
And then Mateer hurt his hand. And that's why he went south. I guess what people are ignoring. See, facts, bro. Facts, right? That's going to be a new slogan around here. Facts, bro.
Facts, bro.
Facts. They people tend to ignore that, like the details. Oh, well, Mateer sucks. We can't play in the SEC. Well, he had a broken, mangled hand, dude.
Right.
What do you expect? They led them to the playoff. They got enough, right? They got enough.
Yeah, I mean, what did you need more?
Yeah, I mean, facts, bro. Yeah. Oh, Lenore Sellers took a step back last year. The offense looked bad. Okay, well, they've got a new offensive coordinator, and he's got a pretty good track record. Facts, bro.
Facts, bro.
But no, Carolina's there. And we found this out bigly because as inconsistent as South Carolina has been, the fact that they base most of these things off what happened last year. I keep hearing Mike Leach's voice a minute. That was last year.
Last freaking year.
We know that, that's what happens. It's based on last year. Even when expectations have been a little higher, they put them up wherever. And then, based off last year, expectations are lower, so they drop. Florida and Auburn, which go look at pull up Auburn's record and Florida's record since 2021, during the Beamer era.
Let's see.
Pull those bad boys up. I want to, and I know they've won national championships in the last, this century, but it's not like they've been having, we had a couple of down years and now we're back. No. And how many coaching changes? They're basically a lot like Tennessee was under Dooley and Champions of Life and Pruitt. Both those programs are.
Yeah, so sub 500 record for Florida, all but one of those years. So a 6-7, 6-7, 5-7, 8-5, 2024, Billy's best year, and then finished off 25, 4-8.
Now I'll give their kids credit; they got them off the mat and actually played well in their
towards
ACC
the end
rivalry
of the
game.
season. Yeah.
They beat Florida Florida State pretty good, but
and now Auburn, I don't know if it's going to be even that good.
That's 5 years, dude.
Yeah.
That's a whole bunch of recruiting classes cycling through that we're all ranked highly for both these teams.
Yeah. So Auburn's is, yes, even worse, 32-42 overall, 6-7, 5-7, 6-7, 5-7, and 5-7. And
so Auburn has not had a winning season since 2020 when they fired Gus Malzahn for winning 6 SEC games.
That's right. But they lost to South Carolina, so that's what did it.
Bro.
2020.
Yeah, that actually was a big win.
That was huge.
You look back on it, I did the 40 highs and 40 lows every year. That took me forever to write, by the way. I'll never again. I did the whole thing from memory too, except I had to look up one thing. That win by Carolina over that Auburn team was actually fantastic. It was the high of that season. We didn't realize it at the time because Gus was on the hot seat. Oh yeah, well, Carolina finally beat Auburn, thankfully.
Yeah,
that Auburn team won 6 SEC games.
Nuts.
And then they fired him and paid him $39 million to walk away.
To go away.
Gus Malzahn. You buy a lot of Waffle House with that. $39 million.
Sure can. Plenty of Yellowwood.
So Auburn had a winning season since then. Florida had one winning season, and that was kind of the miraculous finish because Napier was about to get fired in 2024. And they kind of did that with their defense, just to be honest. And it didn't last off season. And we're talking about them being a playoff team. They're supposed to have the best offensive line in America.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They lost to South Florida at home, and it just spiraled
and then it was all downhill.
But you look now, they're back up.
Yeah,
the Gamecocks. Why? John Summerall, a winner. Auburn. People aren't quite ready to put Auburn up there yet, and I know why. Like with Florida, you probably do look at that blue chip ratio and go, "Oh, they got players," and they do.
Yeah, right.
They do. It would be a good year, I think, to get Auburn to come to Williams-Brice as well. South Carolina schedule could only be a little bit better if Vandy and Auburn were on it instead of Oklahoma and Georgia. Or I'd even trade Vandy and Auburn for Tennessee and Florida at this point. That would be a dream.
That would be. I mean, we'd be feeling a lot better about things. I mean,
wait a minute.
You
can't trade Florida. They're a permanent opponent.
Yeah, they're a permanent opponent. So,
and Georgia's a permanent opponent. So let's trade Oklahoma,
Tennessee, and
A&M.
A&M.
Get rid of that.
I know.
The Bonham Trophy.
Nobody cares.
I saw A&M on the schedule again. I'm like, my gosh. Oklahoma, Alabama for the third straight year. Two of the most storied programs in the history of college football.
I know.
No, we're going to send you out there for a second time in 3 seasons. Both places. You excited? You excited?
Are you ready?
You're going to get excited about this? So anyway, McKellar Enterprises Chat Box, certainly invite all. Russell recognized the Big Head Todd and the Monsters quote. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I still like Big Head Todd and the Monsters. I'll jam to them sometimes. Bittersweet, almost an Inner Sandman. Resignation Superman is a good tune. Broken Hearted Savior is a jam. I like
it. Big Head.
I like Big Head Todd.
Good, man.
Harrison's turning 21. He does very good work for us on thebigspur.com. Also helps us behind the scenes on Chief Sports. He's an avid chat boxer and a brilliant kid. I say kid because he's turning 21, right?
I mean, yeah, compared to the rest of us. I mean,
it's everybody is asking about we got on the topic of liquor because hopefully Harrison ties one on. Maybe not. And so I mentioned Mad Dog 2020.
Whew.
Remember that? My stepson is in the experimenting with at parties with generic alcohol, and I think he got into the Popov vodka the other day because his mom got the speech, "I'm never drinking again." I'm never drinking again. He's always throwing up in the bushes. I think we've all been there, bro. But so Kreger brought up St. Ides. Yeah, St. Ides is Boone's Farm. Was part of it.
Yeah, I drank a lot of that Boone's Farm strawberry
fields, or TD brought up Smirnoff. God, yeah, that's awful vodka.
So I used to keep a bottle of Smirnoff in my room, hid up in high school. It's probably one of the reasons why I really can't drink vodka nowadays. That gets me sick. I've had enough. Like there's a terminal volume for a lifetime, and I used mine up early.
Done. Smirnoff used to be house liquor in a lot of places. Did you know?
Oh,
that?
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it is anymore. My wife likes Tito's. My wife's a vodka drinker, except Smirnoff. And I'm like sitting there going, Smirnoff, man. Like that. I thought I was under the impression that was at least decent.
Yeah,
it's not absolute, or it's not the Goose, or maybe not even Tito's. Now, I'll still turn the Goose loose every now and then on a martini, just or a Bloody Mary if they have it. But most people drink. Tito's is very popular.
Tito's is usually the one we keep around here.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I guess Smirnoff has fallen down the liquor rankings list.
It's that mass production stuff. Now it's all boutique made.
It doesn't get the benefit of the doubt anymore.
No.
It's like Auburn will be eventually if they keep having losing seasons. I'll pull for anybody but Auburn.
It's like Sam Jackson beer in my mind. It'll get you drunk.
So anyway, yeah, Mad Dog 2020. I don't even know how they made that stuff. Daryl likes Tito's, so that's good. Quantrell chimes in about preseason rankings. The older I get, I appreciate preseason talk. Preseason rankings are garbage. They don't matter at all. Yeah, and you got a lot of people doing it now. Like back in the day when there wasn't a whole lot of media before the internet came along. You cared what the national sports writers said. You cared what the magazines did, which, by the way, you figure out if you ever get into this business from a writing standpoint, the people that write those articles for the magazines are national and regional sports writers.
Right. Yeah.
The previews and stuff. So you buy those and you're fired up to know what it means. And, and you listen to sports talk radio and stuff. And so there's not as much to consume. And we all but now it's everywhere, and so I don't know the rankings. I'm not mad about any of it. I mean, I don't really think that it's that important. I don't care that Carolina's ranked 11th. I think Shane Beamer is going to remind the team every single day about that.
That's right.
Which is what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. But look, I'll roll this out at you. As far as that goes, it's one of those things where you can't really come to a consensus because you don't know about the players.
There's so many things. Yeah,
we're not far enough along in the portal era, Phil, to have data to go, okay, this usually works.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, that's why I think it's such a mystery. And that's kind of why I like Carolina's chances. Just to be honest.
I mean,
because there's less unknown. Maybe it's me and I've been paying attention to Carolina, not everybody else. And I've tried to dig in. But I have been the last month or so. I don't know if you guys noticed I've come up with a different team to gripe about every I am digging in now.
That's right. Something to complain about.
And I like to call some of my buddies that cover other schools and they'll get it to me straight.
True,
so,
yeah.
But there's just less questions coming up, when it comes to Carolina. But there are some big ones with Carolina too. And all that good stuff.
Well, and I think, there's one thing that kind of settles me is Carolina has done well at targeting, evaluating, and bringing in transfer talent on defense that has performed well even in like 1 year opportunities. So let's go.
David Pollock's pretty high.
Yeah.
Cousin Shane is pretty high on the Gamecocks. He says they're closer than ever. I don't know, man.
That one makes me nervous. I mean, I appreciate it. Love Cousin Shane to death, but I don't think his picks do all that well.
Cousin Shane. He and Mike are on the Missouri bandwagon last year.
Yeah, they were.
Look, I'll tell you that Missouri, I think, is pretty good. It was pretty good last year until their quarterback got hurt. So,
yeah.
I mean, they played Alabama and lost. Alabama played really well that day. See, that's my question about Bama. Like last year, there were games where Alabama looked outstanding. And there were games they didn't. And now they got a lot of new players. And they still couldn't run the ball last year. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen at Tuscaloosa. I do know what's happening at GamecockTraditions.com. They have Nike stuff. So go check all that out. We appreciate them being. And those of you that went out to the Nick Harbor signing the other day.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. To support Nick, NIL-wise, also to support Gamecock Traditions, a proud sponsor here of Inside the Gamecocks. And Phil and I will be back after this, the next segment on the show.
Join thebigspur.com and Gamecock Central today for the best Gamecock coverage in South Carolina. Proud partners of On3.
Whether it's fireside or poolside, if it's time to watch the Gamecocks, Palm Casual will make your outdoor space the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com and come see us at one of our South Carolina locations. Go Gamecocks!
Andy, why are you burning all that money?
Because if you're buying a Honda or Toyota, that's exactly what you're doing. Look at the new Kia K4. It's $2,000 less than the Civic, and Honda only has a 5-year warranty. JT's Kia has a 1,000,000-mile warranty.
Don't forget JT's Advantage package. Oil changes, roadside assistance, and so much more. Why burn money?
840 North Anderson Road, where we're serious about saving you money.
JT's Kia Rock Hill.
Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event.
Shopping at Gamecock Traditions is easy. Just pick up your phone. Type in GamecockTraditions.com. Select your items and purchase. They will ship it to your doorstep. GamecockTraditions.com.
The Aventon Adventure 2 takes the same basic design as the original Aventon Adventure, making it an adventure bike designed to take you places that typical roads just don't reach, allowing you to ride whatever terrain you want based on your whims of the day. Look at what you're getting. Hydraulic disc brakes, torque sensor for responsive pedal assist, great LED lighting, suspension, a beautifully welded frame with excellent build quality, included rear rack, included fenders. The list just keeps going on.
Visit electricbikescharleston.com for more.
Sell your quality sports and fitness equipment to play it against sports and get paid. Recycling your in-demand sports gear keeps it available in your community. Sell, buy, trade, and win with Play It Again Sports.
If you need a new fence, railings, even new columns, there is only one call in South Carolina. Gamecock great, Ryan Brewer. Over 15 years in the industry. Visit ryanbrewer.net today.
Watch JC and Morgan every week on the Chief Sports Network. Now back to ITG.
Welcome back, everybody, inside the Gamecocks, the show rolling on here. Final segment of the show here to kick off the week on a Monday, Manic Monday, Mad Dog Monday. Insert alliterative here. I don't know. Why do we do that?
Alliteration? Because it's fun.
It is
it's aggressive, creative, and fun.
That's right. Some of it is aggressive, creative, and fun.
I've been doing a little creative writing lately.
Yes, you have. It's great. Yeah.
Have you been partaking?
I have. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. Every
that opening number, man. I was like,
man,
wow. I got a new program that kind of anyway.
JC Lloyd Webber. I mean,
I'll have some. It did have a little Lloyd Webber.
It's
to
got
it.
a little touch of it.
Anyway, the audience ain't gonna know what the hell we're talking about. So
Nope.
we're gonna go back to football. Nevertheless, okay. So I want to mention this, and then I can get with this, and I can get with that, and then I can get with this, and you can get with that. But anyway, so Nasir White, who is Walker? Sorry, Nasir Walker. Class of 2028 defensive end from AC Flora. Okay, so he transferred, right? So this has been happening in high school basketball in our state a ton lately. But you have to understand, in basketball, this is kind of thing's been going on for years. You know, Kevin Garnett, of course, famously went to Farragut Academy in Chicago. A lot of kids used to go to like Oak Hill Prep, and they didn't just go to prep school. You know, they go to they go as high school players. Basketball, it's kind of been that way for a while with some of the top guys, not just in our state, but other states. But now you're starting to see it in football a little bit. And it kind of started back when Xavier Thomas and Stephon Wynn and guys like that would go to IMG. Now, the guys that started the IMG football program down there are friends of mine. You know, they used to do the Under Armour camp circuit, and I have a lot of respect for them. So have to be, I don't want to criticize them. I do want to say we've had about 10 years of this, there's no discernible evidence that going to IMG and playing and beating the crap out of everybody that you play, it makes you a better football player in college or gives you more NIL money or anything like that. So I think some kids go to IMG because they have grade issues and they need to get the grades up, and IMG's got the tutoring and all that to help you, but that's all that. But this is interesting. Because Nasir Walker is going to Creed Lutheran in California, Irvine, California, from Columbia. And my understanding is this is not his parents said, oh, I think we're going to move the whole family to California.
That's right.
So there's some recruiting and agent things involved here. Now, I want to say this. This kid, no matter what they paid him, it's $1 too much.
Right.
And people go, oh, you're beating up on a high school kid. No, I'm not. I'm beating up on the adults that made this decision. And not even his parents. Parents do the best they can. They want the best for their kids. I get that. They are very rightfully biased, non-neutral observer. But the coaches out of that school in California and the agent or whatever, they're going to, so when you look at Walker, he's 6'5", 222. Needs to work on his first step and his get off. Okay, so Julian Walker, right?
That's right.
Julian Walker was a little bit quicker off the line as a young player, but that was something his get off when you watched his junior film. And this kid isn't even a junior yet, sophomore
right.
film.
Yeah,
he's like, well, he's not as quick off the line as you'd hope, and now he is. So and Julian Walker's done nothing but work and get better at football. Kid he's not very active in the weight room at the high school level. And so maybe all this going out there and where they've got more structure, maybe that's the reason, is that he wasn't structured. I don't know. AC Flora, you got a former NFL guy coaching them, and the coach before that won 10 games. So I don't know. But I just think that when this starts to creep into the high school level, as bad as it is in college, as far as, stunting the development of players, you start getting active transfers, recruiting money involved with high school players. And, the whole thing is going to collapse, because then there's not going to be, you're going to have a ton. Literally, you can fill up a Webster's dictionary. You'll be able to fill up a Webster's dictionary worth of names of guys that could have played professional football and supported their families generationally doing it, that ruined themselves over however much, couple 100,000 or whatever. I don't know, whatever price that was, by going to some stupid high school football program that they can't, that probably, without rich boosters or tax money, can't sustain itself. They don't make money in high school football. Makes no money.
No,
it makes the opposite of money, Phil. And what's that?
That's right. Negative money.
No money.
No money.
No money.
It's going to cost you to move out.
College football at least makes money. You invest and you get a return. This is ridiculous. This, and the coaches and agent and all these people trying to do this at the high school level, it's not good for the game. And I'm not necessarily talking about transfers within our state. They changed the rules. You get that, even things like Gray Collegiate and Oceanside, which, you certainly could make an argument against some of those spots.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan, but
but you take a kid and football now. Now, if you're a basketball player, is going to be a lottery pick in 2 years. Hell yeah, move him across the country. I mean, go. It's done. It's done. But a guy at a developmental position who only has offers because of upside, who is going to have to. I mean, and you actually compensate. I don't know. I'm just not into it.
Yeah,
I'm just not into it.
No, I mean, I don't know what are California's high school NIL. Not that it even really matters anymore.
High school, it kind of ends. With high school, it just kind of depends on the school.
Right.
If you want to go do that, you can. And I'm like, there's not enough unless one person just wants to. I mean, to me, it's kind of, I think it's kind of cheating if you go out of state and recruit and then go play California schools, some of which are locked into whoever moves into their school district.
Right.
I mean, what does it prove when you're doing that? What does it prove? Because Nasir Walker's probably not the only one. What does it prove if you're there and you're so and so school or academy and you get to play against City High School and down the block high school and Ocean Shore High School, right?
Right.
And all those schools they care about football. There's parent is very supportive of it. They fund the program. Again, a lot from taxpayer dollars. And they got a proud tradition. And you're sitting there, but your deal is you're just gonna go, get players from all over the place just because you have crazy people running it that can. And then you win and you beat everybody by 30 points. What does that really prove, Phil?
Right. Nothing.
What does it prove on the high school level? Nothing.
No, not a thing.
Nothing.
I mean,
it's Loserville. I think it's a loser mentality. I think it's a loser. I think people that try to do that, they're not ultra competitive. They're not win at all costs at the high school level. They can't get it done on their own. They're like the little guy that stands on the big guy's shoulders. And fights and boxes and makes lucky contact and then says he beat Mike Tyson in his prime in a fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said it earlier. If basketball's fine, hell, baseball doesn't really matter. But when you're talking about a sport as developmental as football is, like that there are not just minor step ups, but wide gaps in between the different levels, like in between every different level. Once you get organized in high school, then this search for immediate gratification can completely derail any long-term development that could, like you said, like be generationally life-changing for some of these families, all to satisfy an immediate need. And it's a little short-sighted, but I think that's where, I don't know who this kid's agent is. I don't know for
agent. An agent, dude. I mean,
right.
When you say agent, it means money's involved. Now,
right.
Exactly. So there's a lot of kids in South Carolina transferring. I don't necessarily like it.
No.
But I don't really think, man, that like there's a ton of money being like, I don't think the Dutch Fort Booster Club is moving anybody across the country. I mean, I just and really in South Carolina so far, what I've seen is it's kind of like not free market in terms of finances. And I'm not saying no money's changed hands. I have no idea.
Right. Yeah.
I would imagine that people in South Carolina are a little smarter than that. But I think a lot of it is okay. It's kind of like the school choice argument, right? Oh, you perform well, then you got a good program. Kids are going to gravitate toward your program. It's like school choice. The people that advocate for that are like, well, this school's good, so even if you live over here, you should be able to go to that school. That kind of thing. I get that. The Mountain View preps and things like that too. Blake mentions Chapman never have a chance to win state. I noticed you didn't mention your Landrum Cardinals, buddy. That's okay.
That's all right. Yeah, 2A. Right, or are they
one of these days? Landrum will be big and competitive. It'll be like a 5A school.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah,
no, not at all. But those kind of prep school charter schools have been around for a while. They're popping up. You get it, and I know. Like your other high school coaches don't really like it, but it's
But Abbeville's not working that I-10 corridor attracting kids to come to school there.
So I just, Jay Diz says his buddy's kid benefited from going to IMG. He had horrible high school coaches that are fully in with Clemson. Most high school coaches are great, but a couple of them in South Carolina try to control where kids will go. I see less and less of that these days. But I mean, I'm sure you're right. I mean, You know, to me, if there's a specific reason to go someplace, like, you know, with IMG through the years that I've seen, I'm fine with it. Like the kid that's from Hartsville that went to Clemson. What's his name? The D tackle.
Where's Bruin when you need him? He knows.
Yeah. Anyway, he my understanding was hearing about him that he didn't Hartsville, because some public school guidance counselors and people like that mess it up too for these guys. The grades were off, and you know, Hartsville High School. This is what I was told. You know, somebody's out there, don't get mad at me. That if he was going to stay in Hartsville, he probably wasn't going to qualify. But then so he went to IMG. I don't mind that. That's fine. I don't really mind the in-state transfers unless it becomes like an epidemic. Right. And you do have people starting to fork out big money, and then it comes down to who has the most disposable cash to pay. Because let's face it, there are school districts that are richer than others because the tax base is richer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just, you know, I'm not, but this whole, I'm like an agent with a rising junior and just come to California. I'd say that if it was a school from South Carolina, going to California to get a guy.
Yeah. I mean, you know, any cross country attraction to players at the high school level. That's what
Capehart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't get it. And now up in Chicago, you have recruiting that takes place, and this has been this way for years. In 8th grade. Now there's no money, right? You know,
right.
But and it's because you have the Catholic schools. You know, you have the Chicago's got a bunch of Catholic private schools. And so when kids are in 8th grade, they decide, am I going to go to Providence Catholic or am I going to go to Lockport? You know, we took the Moose. He was recruited, I guess. He went and spent a day at Providence, and then he spent a day at Lockport, and he decided public school was for him. So that's fine. I mean, you know, I'm not saying that recruiting should never take place. I'm saying this whole deal, and if it's happening with a guy like Walker, it's happening all over the place. I don't understand where the money's coming from. Right. Because, okay, in college, which is the agents, the parasites, the parasitical ones, the schools, the collectives, the business, whoever, they've got the money to pay the kid. And it's the dollars are up there, unfortunately, way more than they're worth, but they're up there. And so I understand, like, okay. And then college sports, the argument is, well, it makes all this money. Shouldn't they get their cut? So what revenue are you generating at the high school level by winning?
What do you mean?
Other than more people join the booster club, you sell more hot dogs in the stands, I guess.
Right.
Game day revenue, but you're not talking about, I mean, how many hot dogs can you sell? How many ads can you sell is that program going to look like the Sears catalog or the dictionary?
That's right.
How many ads in the program you can sell? There's not that many businesses in Orange County, California.
No.
I mean, I don't understand where the motivation is other than, you know, I'm going to stand on the shoulders of this big dude with money and punch all of my opponents in the face. And that makes for an unfair game. And then that's going to erode an entire group of really guys that have the raw talent and ability to do well in college football, to do well in the NFL, over peanuts and a quote unquote great opportunity for them and their family, which not compared to the opportunity you get down the road. It's going to ruin their development. And then, you know, and I always say there'll be somebody to take their place. Football's talent maximization, right? So a guy out of high school may not have quite the talent this other guy has, but that other guy's not going to work, and that guy's going to outwork him. And then you'd never dream of taking the other guy, right? So Quantrell says JC sounds like NIL laws in South Carolina will be changing if they want to keep top talent. It's just the way it is. Parents could argue that the state has a corridor of shame label. I'm sending my kid out of here. That's true, Quantrell, but the corridor of shame, I think AC Flora is one of the best high schools in the state.
Yeah, Flora
specifically. And I don't blame anybody to do it. You know, I don't I don't. It's not. I don't blame the parents or the kids for doing it. I don't. You know. I do think this in nationally they may need to look at a high school NIL law. Because how much how much name, image, and likeness in Orange County, California is Nasir Walker worth?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's got.
Look, lots of people go to California to become famous. They don't. But
maybe there's a Walker tire out there.
Yeah. You know, I mean, look. Paramount Pictures isn't like signing them to the deal before they come out there. Let's give you this advance.
That's right. Yeah.
They're starring 5 pictures for us.
They're giving him a 4-picture deal.
Yeah, but yeah, the corridor of shame and all that. Like I know there's some schools in South Carolina that leave a lot to be desired academically. And that's a shame. But that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I just think for the good for the game and for some of these kids' lives. And like Quantrell, here's my thing too. Even if so if you paid so to get a kid out there like that and his family and all that, you know, what are you looking at? A couple of $100,000, $400,000. That's way too much to spend on one player in football. Even if you paid a guy $50,000 for one season of high school football, that's too much. And, you know, football is a voluntary sport. You don't have to participate if you don't want to.
Yeah, right. You're not obligated to do so.
You know, and just like any other profession, if you want to be a professional, you have to put in your dues. And so, yeah, some of this stuff, it's like, you know, this guy hadn't really done anything. So I don't know. But I do wish. Now what I'd like to see, Quantrell, with NIL in South Carolina is, okay, you've got like Ed Burns, they have a Meet the Rebels night. You know, okay, you know what I'd like to see done there? You know, everybody, like, I don't know. I'm using this as a hypothetical example. I don't know what the details are of Meet the Rebels night. But like, okay, so everybody in the community maybe shows up, right? And they pay $5 to go in and have their picture taken with the players and bring their kids, and there's punch and pie or whatever, you know, everybody, okay, barbecue dinner. And they use it as a fundraiser because these programs do have to raise outside funds. It's not all taxpayer money. Okay, great. All right, so you want to give a couple of players some spending money or something, put in their pocket for it? Yeah, I'm all for that. It's their time too after school. You know, you want the local, you know, burger joint to have one of their best players, as you know, cut a commercial on social media. Well, yeah, they should get paid for that. But NIL is you know, there's some blending of traditional NIL now, finally. But it's not NIL at college level. It's pay for play. And then you have the exact same thing happening at high school. It kind of makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
Because again, the motivation, what's the motive? What's the motivation for Nasir Walker? You know what that is. What's the motivation for paying him?
Yeah.
Besides, you know, we're going to buy a team and beat the crap out of this school that, you know, got rezoned, you know, that kind of thing.
Well, what if and this is reckless speculation, but could we be seeing undue influence at the high school level from universities who are going to begin treating these private institutions as dedicated feeders?
I don't know. Interesting.
That's what I'm worried about, because there is not any level of constraint or oversight that could poke its head into that relationship legally at this point.
Feeders. Yeah. I don't know if it wouldn't be good. I mean, like, let's say Walker had decided already that this is, we're not specifically talking about him anymore. These are hypothetical.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
But, you know, what if Walker decided, hey, I want to play at UCLA. I love Bob Chaney. Of course, it's way too early to be making that kind of decision because if you had a feeder school, then you couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of locked in either way.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm going to go to UCLA, so I'm just going to go on and that's like an early enrollment. I'm going to go play at the school down from UCLA. You know, parents are going to get out here and get settled. That's fine with me.
Yeah, but let's say, you know, the Trojan boosters have concocted this. I mean, and it's let's not think that a situation like this is not well within the realm of possibility at Southern Cal, that they collectively pool their money, throw a national net out there and funnel these kids to a few private institutions to then come to their private institutions, private institution. And then at the same time, it's like, well, you know, if your hit rate is high enough, then the every once in a while bust that you have doesn't really matter. Because money's not real at the next level, at the college level, right? I mean, it isn't. It just is what it is. So
there's way more bust for the money than there always will be, though, because you can't. If you keep driving the prices up more and more, nobody, and eventually, and again, I've evolved on this. It's easy to sit there and beat up on, you know, parasite agents. But there's not every agent's a parasite. Some are pros.
No,
They're just doing their job. You can't just blanket blame agents. You can't just blanket blame parents or kids. I think a lot of times it's the coaches and the boosters.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you see, you saw it in basketball this year, Phil. Coaches griping and complaining all year. Basketball coaches.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, there's about to be a reckoning because they're getting less rev share money and prices are about to come. Oh, no, hell no. You know, and the ones that complain the loudest are the ones that are like paying stupid money.
That are probably the worst offenders, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot. I think there's a lot to this story that we don't know and a lot that we will never know. But I think that you can extrapolate from what's going on that there are certain paths that may need to kind of keep an eye on.
Yeah. Quantrell says 50 grand and all the In-N-Out burgers you can eat for your senior year. Sounds like a deal.
Hey, I'd have traveled anywhere for that kind of deal.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Quantrell, Nasir's not a senior. He's a junior. So they're making an investment in a high school
2 year.
Yeah, he's 2028. Man. I mean,
I'm sure he's not going to have to pay any tuition for all of those hard work.
And you think about this too, like, all right, it's a great
Catholic school.
Great for the kid and his family. They're getting a nice little whatever they're getting, right? But this early, you can really prevent yourself from doing even better down the road, and that's in college and in the pros.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to go to the pros now. You can just be pretty good in college and make life-changing money. So then it comes down to, like, you know, a parental decision, which parents can do whatever they want. I'm not ever going to criticize a parental decision.
No.
Versus how stupid is the high school booster and the coaches to want to buy a player from all the way across the country that has a lot of work to do. I mean, can you not have that down? I mean, in LA, are there no defensive ends? I mean, LA, last time I checked, is pretty talent-laden place.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I mean, that you maybe, you know, I mean, I just don't, I don't get the motive. That's the thing. I don't get the motivation on the school's end, other than they just want to, you know, they want to kind of stack the deck against their opponents. gonna be interesting to see.
What
I'm
benefit
sorry,
is there then, right?
Didn't mean to talk high school sports this whole time. Anyway, okay, so it's Monday. Right, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow is Terrible Tuesday.
That's right.
Coffee in the morning. Wednesday I will be here. Thursday I will not.
Yep.
Guns N' Roses Public Enemy Wednesday night. JC's going to take a mental health day the next day. Right. Last big thing in the big best thing. Sorry. Last little break of the summer. I've been tongue tied during the show today. I was a little tongue tied during coffee this morning too. Usually not. So anyway, thank you for tuning in and listening to my TED Talk. For the Mad Dog, Phil Mullinax, JC Sherbert. See you tomorrow inside the Gamecocks show.